Good evening. Welcome to the Mancunian Way. Damn, I was going to break it on air, but City Extra have already got sodding live with it. Damn. Never mind. City Extra are already live with the news. Damn.
City Extra are live with what news?
They're already live with the shirt number. Damn.
Ooh.
Damn. Anyway, good evening, gentlemen. How are we all? Pat, Vater, Rich. How are we all?
Not too bad.
Pretty good.
All good from you, mate. I hope everybody's doing well, and everybody else in the chat. I hope you're all having a good day, evening, morning, wherever you are.
Oh, we nearly had 22 viewers automatically then. It's gone up to 23 now.
Ooh, I'm going to make it 24.
Yeah, I'm better than
like
Sadio Mane today.
22 is a lovely number.
Why would you say 22 is a lovely number?
Okay, right. I'll tell you. Listen, this is what I've been saying. I've heard. Jude Bellingham's shirt number is going to be 22. Apparently. There was a trademark done about 6-7 months ago of JB22 done in the UK. Yeah, I know, Charlie. Stop. It's what I mean. I could die. Everyone holding you. There was a trademark done a while ago of JB22, and it was on BM Forum earlier that apparently the reason Liverpool backed out of, had to do a role reversal, was because when Jan Fjortov went out with his Liverpool have made a bed, Liverpool were like, we haven't made a bed. We need to get out of this quickly. And 60 minutes later, we started retracting everything. Was because there was no bid. Because Fjortov had gone with the bid, Liverpool suddenly had to go, hang on, it's going to get to a fever pitch here with our fan base. We need to go into complete opposite mode now. Because it was all right. As well, Rich actually was the one who broke it ages ago. Rich was like, Jude's already done. No, remember that, Rich? Rich is like, no, I didn't.
I'm sure I did last season.
Yeah. So yeah, but we'll get into that when it gets done.
Ooh, big news though. Big news.
Yeah, apparently City are very, very calm.
Yeah,
and it's the same MO that they use for Grealish.
As we've always done in the past.
So it's a short list of us in Real Madrid.
Real Madrid have been distancing themselves from it big time.
It's not even a shortlist, Vater. It's already there's no shortlist.
Oh damn! All right,
there ain't no shortlist. I told you there ain't no shortlist.
All right.
All I'll say is,
calm
and then we'll move on, is when Manchester City get linked with a player this ferociously, if there is no truth in it, City come out and say, we're not even in this market. Stop.
Good point.
They did it on Neymar. Remember when the Neymar fever pitch went in the summer?
Yeah.
And everyone was getting Neymar. And then City came out and went, we're not even looking at Neymar. Can you stop? But they didn't over Haaland. They stayed quiet over Grealish. And they've stayed quiet over Jude.
Good point. All right.
Anyway, let's get into it. We are here for Leeds United. Couple of topics tonight. Thought we'd talk little Leeds United. Leeds United. Where's Leeds United come from? Leicester City.
We are due to play them, but not yet.
Leicester City. And we're also going to talk about how good is this actual Manchester City team. And then if we've got time, we'll talk. We've always talked about incomings, but we've not really talked about any potential outgoings in the other way. And I just wanted to
we had a show on that about 2 months ago where we all discussed Gundogan and Bernardo.
No, we didn't. Not really.
Yeah, we had we talked through about 2 months ago, and we talked through each one of them for about 20 minutes.
All right, calm down. Oh yeah, and they shut down the message store.
But there will be a new show live on YouTube.
Alec, good evening, mates.
Breaking news.
City Batters have made a statement. They have requested that the club freeze season ticket prices this year due to the economic climate in the UK at the moment. They have asked it would be in the club's best interest if they freeze season ticket Yeah. 9-1. Bang up behind that one.
That's great news.
Stephen, Charlie, good evening, mate. Joe Grogan, the show better than TV. Thank you, mate. So kind. Hello and good evening, Blue Heart. How are you? Michael Phoenix, hello. Hope you're good, mate. Big Blue, Big Morgan, how are you, mate? Almost a full set. Andy may be joining us soon. He's just grabbing some food. Alan did get an invite. I don't know where he is. Let's get these in the bin by half time. They're managerless and crap. They're not managerless. They've got a manager, mate. Who leaked the shirt news? What journalist? It's not always from journalists, Charlie. Jude Bellingham, we already know. If you already know, well, why are you asking where it's from then? Patrick, good evening, mate. Please get the message out about Vader's channel. Yes. Quality show yesterday, and I'm hoping to get back on there at some point very, very soon. Blue Moon Fox. Charlie, you think he's staying for some weird reason. I don't know why you think he's staying here. Get the game when you thought he was going to Liverpool earlier. It's like someone said, you've been living under a rock, Charlie. Get the game one early and have one eye on Bayern.
A Bayern game that we may not see Sadio Mane play, by the way, seeing as what the club have just done.
Yep. Him and Sane.
Lovely to see you in, Sean. I can see Bellingham staying at Dortmund for a year. No, Charlie, because Dortmund need to revamp their squad. So they need the Moolah. Evening Blues, they need to get their squad redone, mate. Yeah, Rich last season saying Klopp plays football over the top of midfield. All right, Stephen, don't give him due. Give him credit. Look at him now. He's like cat who got the cream.
He's picked up.
Say it before. Why would a midfielder sign for Liverpool? To get a bad neck.
Oh, Jesus Navas is bagged, does there?
Oh.
Is that 2-1 now then?
Yeah, would have to be.
I listen more to Martin than I do to my missus. Oh, thank you, mate. 42 on the stream, get them likes, yeah. Who's playing good cop and who's playing bad cop tonight? Well, we'll see as we go along. What Mane did was insane, yeah. If Sane did that, it's insane. Back the other way.
Yeah. If the comments are true, the reaction...
Yeah, if the comments are true, the reaction's actually quite justified. I'm not saying he should, but you can understand why. Anyway.
It's a strange one, though, because Sané's Senegalese. His dad's Senegalese. The same as Mane. So
it's total madness what has actually happened there.
100%.
I think Bayern were right to suspend Mane indefinitely because they were dealing with enough with the result that just have this on top is just even further.
Sane scot-free though, all right?
No, but I think what they did, because it leaked about the altercation physically, then they had to come out and apply judgment. But at the same time, I'm sure they're gonna have some conversation with Sane because there's levels of respect that need to be shown between teammates. So yeah, see where that goes.
And there's also levels of respect between human beings in decent society.
I mean, it's Mane's best mate who tweeted the allegation against Sane, so that hasn't come from anyone at Bayern. That's come from Mane's best
I'm going to
mates.
admit, though, I thought Bayern Munich were the good angels of football, and they did everything correct, and everything was prim and proper at Bayern Munich. I thought they don't have investment from anyone. They're a fan-run club and legends and all this.
And they run the good monopoly in the Bundesliga.
Oh, that's it. I forgot all about Audi.
Yeah.
Because I forgot Audi doesn't put a penny into Bayern Munich, does it?
Except for the fact that Dortmund's no longer their feeder club, so they're not happy at all.
No, Borussia Dortmund are becoming our feeder club.
Yeah. We've taken their role as Dortmund.
And we swapped over from Bayern Munich now. That's why they don't like us, because we've become Dortmund's feeder club. Yeah. Or Dortmund have become our feeder club.
We'll pay Dortmund a lot better than they did, and we're not going to then play those players against them every week. So I mean,
weird that though, isn't it?
It's that reason I'm happy to start sending more academy players their way, because if they're responsible for winning a Bundesliga over Bayern Munich, then I'll
think about it. We took Gundogan, took Haaland, Kakanja. Looks like we're taking somebody else from them, and we let them have Sancho. So kind of great. Tell you what, I love this. Do you think Dortmund are just part of CFA and we don't actually know yet?
Well, they're not quite what Southampton are to Liverpool yet, but I mean, I suspect we'll see a few City youth players going Dortmund like Sancho did. I think we'll see a bit more of that because we'll keep them.
Not sure it was handbags, Blue Heart. Don't think socking someone in the face was handbags, mate. You do that in real life, it's assault, mate. I think it was quite handbags when someone's punching someone in the side, in the face.
Blue Heart can probably hit quite hard with a handbag.
What?
Handbags can be quite vicious. I think it's what
you put in that.
You met my wife,
yeah,
especially
a couple of
that explains a lot. Then
bag of coins in a handbag, and you can knock someone out.
That's true. That's true.
Manny also listen, there has been anyway. I don't know, wasn't there? No, it's just what's come out from the actual players. It's been all confirmed now. There was a punch up, sadly. Anyway, see, it's their issues they've got to deal with. Leicester City at home, 5:30 kickoff. I've got that right, Anna, because I got it wrong on the preview earlier. I thought it was 3 o'clock. I don't know why. 5:30 kickoff at the Etihad.
2nd versus 19th.
I'm trying to word it. Is this potential banana skin again? Or are people a bit more confident on this one?
Everything's a potential banana skin. So, yes, it's a potential banana skin, but I don't think it will be. You know, I think we've got our game heads on there. And, you know, I think a couple of changes just to keep people up. You know, I think we'll...
I'm not laughing at Rich. I'm laughing at Blue House comment about the team building exercise.
Yeah. I think Blue Heart is possibly Bayern's next coach because, I mean, let's be honest, Tuchel's been there quite a long time now by their recent standards, and you know, he was brought in to win a treble, and he's gone out of 2 of them in 2 weeks. So I reckon Blue Heart for Bayern.
Hey, just off topic, I remember Joe Royal allowing the City players to do that once in the dressing room. What game was it again? Stoke City at home, where he pissed off at half time and let him have a punch up and just went, sort it, I'm going. And we came out in the second half and beat them 2-1. It was like great.
Yeah, it was scored not long after.
He literally had a massive punch up.
Yeah, it was a good 5-minute fight with about 15 players apparently.
Oh, dearie me. How the mighty have fallen.
Damn. Yeah, I just said it. Yeah.
Anyway, later. Banana skin, or are you actually a bit more confident because of our recent performances on this one?
I'm confident. I'm confident because of our recent performance. I'm also confident because Leicester are fighting for their lives. So they can't afford to slip up. And Pep's going to know that they're going to be well drilled and ready to do their best to get a point from us at the very least. So I think he's going to make sure that the players know what's going to be expected of them, and they've been sharp, and everyone knows what's going to be asked of them at this point of the season. And I'm not concerned for a banana skin, them not playing to their level, but I do respect Leicester and what they're going to pose as an opponent.
Pat, before we bring Andy in.
Yeah, alluding to what Rich said, every game is a banana skin at this point of the season, but I would much rather play this squad at home than play at the King Power. As we know, going to Leicester away can be difficult. When we played there earlier in the season, I put that in the same bracket as playing the opening game of the season away at West Ham. I'm glad we had those 2 away fixtures done early in the season rather than at the business end. Yeah, but look, this is a Leicester team that has really been struggling. I mean, I actually feel a bit of sympathy for them because Brendan Rodgers basically got no investment or no sort of any minimal war chest from the club, from the owners to invest in new players. So you could kind of see where the season was going to go for them as well. Only thing is though is I noticed out of all the bottom teams, they have quite a surprisingly low goal difference. I think it's only -12 after 30 games. So I don't know if that'll help them in the long, come the end of the season and that. But look, I can't see anything more than a victory. I'm not going to say a comfortable victory, but I think the players will be riding a really high wave of form and positivity after the performance against Bayern. So I feel very confident about it. But we always have to allude to that there is a certain Mr. Jamie Vardy who just loves to bag a few against us whenever we play. So I have to think about that. Of course, shout out to fellow Australian Socceroo Harry Suter, who joined Leicester in January as well too. So I'm just hoping he has a good game. He doesn't become like the Aussie Upamecano. Yeah, look, I'm confident with this game.
Oh, I'm coming to you in a bit about the Melbourne City left back that everyone's watched YouTube on and said he's amazing.
Yep. So you're going to ask the guy from Sydney about a left back?
Yeah, I'm actually going to ask a guy who's probably seen him play, like you and Rich. Everyone's just showing me 5-minute clips of YouTube at the minute and saying he's
mate, I'm going to watch Melbourne City away at Central Coast tomorrow. So if you want to hold it for another episode, I can let you know.
Okay, no, that's a good one.
You
good evening.
You might want to ask your little friend in Melbourne, because I don't.
My little friend. Oh, what have you disowned him now?
No, I don't watch A-League. So
have you disowned him? Who's my little friend?
I haven't disowned him, but I don't watch
the
A-League.
old friend?
Yeah, old, yeah.
Who's Joe?
Granddad. Yeah.
Welcome, Joe. Who's Joe?
I think he goes to the games, doesn't he? I thought he had a season ticket, but I don't watch Melbourne, so.
Well, I don't know. I think he goes to the derbies. I think he goes to the Melbourne derbies.
Right.
I think he goes to Melbourne City versus, what is it, Victory?
Yeah. Well, they were.
Is it Victory versus Yeah.
Yeah.
They used to be Melbourne Heart before CFG born.
I don't even watch them on YouTube, I have to confess.
Apparently, it was a cracking goal by Slabhead.
Yeah.
Came right off his noggin and straight in. Bater's looking a bit confused up there. I'm wondering why.
Twitter saying that Arsenal's Chelsea match was April 29th is now moved to May 2nd due to having better police coverage for the game.
That's not the third time that's been moved now.
They were going to, it was going to be obviously us the 26th, them playing on the 29th against Chelsea, now moved to May 2nd.
Good evening, Gander. How are you?
Hiya. You okay? Before we start, got to congratulate Harry Maguire. What a brilliant goal that was by him. Wrong net, but it was still a brilliant goal.
Wrong net. If Haaland had scored it, it was a worlder.
Oh,
no, it was a tap-in. No.
So, Leicester. If it was played
is it a
on
banana skin, or are we getting a bit more confident now in this team?
If it was played on paper, it's pointless Leicester turning up. But it's not played on paper. Is it a banana skin? I just hope Pep goes strong. Go strong like he did with Southampton. Get comfortable, set players off. Let's not take it for granted. I seen somebody say about they'll go for the low block in the first half. I think they'll try to catch us, but I think it's their Fingy Barnes is out, isn't it?
Harvey Barnes is out, yes.
Yeah, Harvey Barnes is out, and he's probably their most influential player. Behind
probably the best form too, Andy.
Yeah, behind David Platt. Him off Coronation Street. What's he called? Madison.
Yeah, we nearly signed him in January.
Who? David Platt?
Yeah.
Banana skin. No, listen. The form we're in, I reckon it's setting shockwaves all around Europe if we didn't get 3 points and a comfortable 3 points there. That's not cocky. That's just
look. It's what I said earlier on Leicester preview. I don't like it because I don't like to sound arrogant, but for some weird reason, this game against Leicester, maybe this is jinxing it. I don't know because I'm confident. I'm so relaxed on it.
I'm with you on it, mate.
I think we're just in a groove at the minute where we know we can't drop points. If it was, as I said, if it was at the King Power, I'm saying banana skin all day. I'm sat here worried, thinking, oh, wow, we may drop. Because we're at Fortress Etihad, I just feel so relaxed on it.
We just can't get complacent, though. I think the fans have got a big part to play as well. So R5 kickoff, plenty of alcohol to be consumed beforehand. So everyone should be loud and proud, even me.
As long as you're not driving. If you're driving, please have soft drinks. Others are available.
No, I won't be driving.
Yep. Given the form we're in now too, I think you feel like the team is now into that stretch of the season now where they're just playing every match as a cup final.
Yeah.
That's it. You're walking away at 90 minutes with more goals than them or making sure they have a clean sheet, whichever way you look at it. Yeah, so you feel like the form and the way that the team is playing, they're in that groove now, that they're not going to come out of it until the season's done.
Yeah, and we can't fear Leicester for being what they were. I mean, not jinxing him because he probably will get a goal, but Vardy's 36 now, isn't he? He's not as quick. He scored one goal in 30 Premier League appearances this year, so he's not the player he was. So he'll probably go and get a goal, but he's not going to be threatened to score 4 or 5 like he, 5-6 years ago he looked like he might do against us. And they haven't got the other players of the quality they used to have around him necessarily. I think they've got some quite good players who probably are better players than their position in the league, but they aren't the Leicester that won the league or that looked like they'd be a top 4 side for a couple of seasons afterwards. They're a very different Leicester. That a lot of players gone, a lot of players have aged, and the manager has gone, having taken them nowhere. So we tend to start imagining we're playing prime Leicester City from the title winning season, and we just aren't.
Does anyone feel?
Do you know another way of looking at it as well, Rich? I totally agree with you there, pal. It's double motivation on Saturday because we play before Arsenal, so if we absolutely get a massive win against Leicester, the second part of that double is Arsenal play on Sunday away to West Ham. So
is it half 2 kickoff? Is it 2 or half 2?
Who, Arsenal?
Yeah.
Not sure. But if we're emphatic,
it is round 2.
That puts double pressure on Arsenal going away to West Ham, because West Ham will not be an easy game for them. I tell you that now. It's totally different from when Newcastle battered them at West Ham the other week. Totally different, mate.
And those out there that are confident too, if we get things right, this could be a game where we could really boost the goal difference as well too.
Yeah, and this is my thing. I want us to, again, I'm going to use the words respect but don't fear. I don't think at the moment we fear anyone.
No.
I think the 11 is going to be very intriguing because, again, I said this on Beta's show. He'll be back in a minute. And this is my point. Someone said to me, is it a disadvantage of City playing every 3 days? And I went, while they're winning, no.
Yeah.
Because it's always one of them, you bounce into every game.
Yeah. As long as we don't get injuries. Yeah. As long as we don't get injuries, it's an advantage.
And the
if we
thing
get
is,
injuries,
the debate is back now. So do you remember what we said about it? We had a discussion on yours last week where there was that debate of, is City playing every 3 days an advantage, or is Arsenal only playing once a week an advantage? Now, you think about it, City are bouncing into every game at the minute and they're tearing teams apart. Arsenal have had to sit on a 2-2 for 1 week being 2-0 down. So they've had to sit and let that fester in the head. Whereas and they're watching us going out, just tearing teams apart.
Yeah.
So I hope that result. I hope the Arsenal players saw that result against Bayern, and I hope it's put the fear of God into them.
Oh, it would have to. It would have to.
Yeah.
I would say this.
I
know exactly what you mean,
and to try and win the title.
And when we talked about it, and I put some more thought into it, I'm in total agreement that our congested schedule is actually a very good thing. It's a very good thing because it has every player dialed in, listening to the manager and wanting to be ready to play, and also knowing that they're going to be asked to play. Because if we're playing at our level and we're getting these scores, and Pep's bringing on players, they remain sharp. The very difference for Arsenal now is they're playing once a week, but Arteta is most likely only relying on the 11. And when he's maybe looking for a different change or a spark within a game, he's bringing on players that don't quite have the same rotation, aren't as sharp, and haven't been playing at that level. So I think it's in favor for us for the amount of games that we're playing within a week.
Yeah, by the way, is anyone saying that? Erling Haaland's after a milk sponsorship. Apparently, superpowers is 2 litres of milk a day, so City have got him a...
if they rename the cow back to the milk cup and that, he's
going to buy him his own cow
and
and just keep going.
Yeah. He's going to say, Accrington Stanley, who are they? I can just see it. He can do it. You know, the other thing he does, he eats a lot of offal. He eats a lot of heart and liver and kidney and all the offal. He gets mass delivered, vacuum sealed.
Loves a kebab, though.
Rich, come on, that's an awful joke.
No, it's true. But I like it.
It's like watching my dad on stand-up here with you two. Stop it.
And by the way, I now know why Haaland didn't play against Liverpool.
Why?
Because he was in the computer shop, having his software uploaded.
Oh right, yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, so he can score goals from outside the 6-yard boxes now. And you saw him against Southampton.
Yeah, he's like an iPhone. You've updated his iOS. Yeah.
Paul, welcome, mate. I hope you do have a good. If you're coming up, Paul, let us know. It'd be great. I want to know if any Leicester fans are coming up. But welcome to the show. And he says, "Go easy on us."
What Vader was alluding to with the players, the Arsenal players, and just the lack of depth too is. The concern I have there too is also just the complacency that could possibly creep in for their starting 11. A good example would be, Martinelli, for example. It's the difference is with our players is they're always at the top of their game every 3 days because they know that if they falter, there's going to be someone to replace them straight away. Martinelli, for example, doesn't have that competition within the squad. He's always penciled in to start every single game. So there's more of a likelihood of complacency to happen. Because they know that there isn't someone, basically standing behind them ready to go if they make any mistakes.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same front four every time, the same back line.
Yeah,
and I think the midfield picks itself. There's not.
And don't get me wrong, what they've been doing this season is fantastic, but it'll only get you so far in a 38-game season.
Yeah, and the simple fact is, is anyone worried about the new manager bounce? Obviously, Dean Smith, John Terry, and Mr. Shakespeare have gone in there now.
Are they worried about Pep Guardiola? I'd say they're more.
I'll come to that. It's the question because you always get that new manager bounce. People.
Excuse me, can you tell Blue Art as well? We're me and Rich are the funny ones round here. Tell tell Andy and Rich to stop taking the humour out of their jokes.
I hope you got jokes. I didn't even know you had jokes. No, but Rich.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Is the new manager bounce, Dean Smith, going to be any factor in this game?
No. I don't think so.
Arrogant sod.
No. He's not being arrogant.
He's not arrogant.
I'm joking.
I think there's clubs where when a manager comes in, it's about the heads have gone, about something that can be changed really quickly, and you do see a new manager bounce having a real impact. I think Leicester's is a bit more of long-term malaise. I think Leicester's is a good side that's just been allowed each summer to sell better players than they've bought, to age players without really going and replacing them. And I don't think Leicester's is a big crumble where there's a quick fix that a new manager bounce is just going to, you know, rouse the players up, get them motivated. They're going to turn around and start playing better immediately, because I don't think it is a case of just players losing form and the heads going. I think it's bigger than that. So I don't think it's going to be that big amounts. And I also don't think that Dean Smith is, you know, he's not a Sam Allardyce. I think he's a bit more, you know, he's not someone you bring in just to like fire things up and turn them around and, you know, do that. But, you know, I may be wrong. I mean, Roy Hodgson gave Palace a new manager bounce, and it's hard to imagine Roy Hodgson bouncing anything.
Sorry?
But that's what I mean, Vader. Everyone laughed at Roy Hodgson going into Crystal Palace, and they all went, "What are they doing?" And then he goes to Ellen Road and slaps and slaps 5 past them. Roy Hodgson's not known for taking a team anywhere and slapping 5 past anyone. Mm-hmm. But you can new ideas.
Yeah. You might score 5 goals in a month.
Yeah, I just think,
Martin.
Yeah, I agree with Andy with regards to this new manager, the new manager bounce. They have the same headache, lack of sleep, worrying about Pep on the other side. And I think for Pep to have had to deal with teams that are going to choose to be defensive and counter, I think we're prepared for it. I think any manager that's really going to set themselves up and take their best chances against City, they're going to be like, let's be defensively resolute as best we can, and let's try to catch them on a counter. We're prepared to deal with teams like that. So I don't see us slipping up. I don't see us like not being sure of ourselves on what we want to do. It's just a matter of executing, and these guys have been firing, man. So I'm confident with them dealing with whatever this manager is going to bring.
Let's not forget the last time we played Leicester. Sorry, man?
Pardo Oaks has put air part. With the low block and the new management system, we don't want another Everton result. Is this another City team though from Everton? Though?
Of course it is.
It's another level of
this is a completely different animal. Completely different animal. A squad that knows exactly what they're doing, where they need to be at the right time, that's gelling well, that's in the best form and probably in Europe of any club.
I'm trying to keep a calm thing here, you see.
No, listen.
This is the thing that Paul's saying. Rogers destroyed us. I'm just looking from the outside looking in, but I felt like he was really struggling to try and keep a squad going in this league when he didn't necessarily have a lot of investment. I found it really, really bizarre they weren't able to get some players in. You know,
he was
back in the summer, and I think it's hurt him a little bit, but. Look, I'm glad you guys decided to get Harry Souttar as an Australian. I think he's a great old school sort of centre back, and I really, you know, for his sake, I hope Leicester can stay up. But yeah, I think it's just going to be a tough one this weekend for him.
A couple of things, Martin. You're only trying to keep it level because you've got some of your Leicester buddies on the show tonight. If they wasn't on, you'd be saying we're going to smash them. And another point. Do you think Roy Hodgson, this new manager effect, if he'd have been playing City, he'd have put 5 past City. He played Leeds United, mate, and Leeds was an absolute shambles.
I just want Harry Souttar to have a good game.
City buddies in the chat. I'm being.
And he called you out, Martin. He called you out.
I just want Harry Souttar to have a good game. Harry, the real Prince Harry. I want him to have an absolute blinder.
No, I did say 4-0 in my prediction on the other show.
You said 4-0.
Yeah.
Who to, Martin? See, you don't want to upset anybody, do you?
I'll tell you what I said. I said 4-0 to City.
Right. Regarding this Australian...
4-0 to City. I win either way, don't I?
Regarding this... I know you asked Pat. Regarding this Australian left-back from Melbourne, do you not think this is more of a case of what we did with the lad who went to Huddersfield? It's
an Aaron Moy situation.
It's an Aaron Moy, yeah. It's even a... what's his name? He's at
even now. Super City's off now. Look, City treble loading.
You started it.
You'll get Vader having nightmares. Stop it.
You started it all in due
Peter's
time.
having cold. Don't blame me up there. You're having cold sweats every night now when the T word gets mentioned.
You're the father of this. What are you talking about?
Do you know the scary thing? We've become Liverpool fans from last.
Hey, calm down now.
No, but we have no. We said to them, "Calm down on your quad."
Let me start up my Let me start up my Scouse. Let me start up my Scouse car. Hey.
All right, let's calm on the scousing.
Let me do the Scouse reversing. Go on.
No, I haven't changed, Charlie. I'm respecting one of my very special panelists at the moment, who I promised I would not mention it anymore. He's gone off camera because he's laughing his head off. I got shouted at off him.
On camera, Vader.
I got shouted at off him. Look, he knows. Vader's told me to relax. Yeah. No, I mean, no. In all honesty, because I had a look, one thing, Rich, we looked at Leicester's next 3 games. Funnily enough, they've got Everton, Wolves, and Leeds United.
6 points.
Can't remember what order it is, but they're literally there the next 3 after us. And I was talking to the Leicester fan, and he said, really, this is like a free hit. This is let Dean Smith look at his squad, see what he's got. Because for me, the next 3 games are more important than Manchester City on Saturday.
Absolutely.
Those are all 6-pointers, aren't they, Rich?
You could throw a West Ham game in there too, Martin.
Yeah.
There's a West Ham game in there at some point.
West Ham,
yeah. And I think, I think the big thing, and this will be interesting that we'll see down the bottom, is with the bottom being so close this year, goal difference probably counts for more than ever. So you are going to have this dilemma with some teams, and we talked about it a bit before Southampton, about whether they have to go for it because they need the points, or whether actually if they could take, and I hate to say this because any manager would deny this, but if teams down the bottom playing at the Etihad, or the same if they were going to Arsenal at this time of year, 1-0 away defeat might actually not be a bad result, because losing 1-0 instead of losing 6-0 could be the difference between staying up and going down. Equally, losing 1-0 and drawing 1-0 could be the difference. But I think the teams are going to have to be incredibly careful, in any tight race. Same with us and Arsenal. We can't afford to, let goal difference come into play, because, we saw it in 2012. Goal difference can matter at times like this. If you've got a substantially better goal difference, it's a point. And so I think Leicester, we'll be thinking 2 things. One, how do we go and get a result? But secondly, how do we avoid having a terrible result? Because anyone knows, they've seen a Champions League side, 3rd in the German Bundesliga at the time, come to players and lose 7-0 with the world's best young defender playing for them. So they're looking at that, and you're going to be thinking, well, we also want to play tight enough that at worst we lose 1 or 2-0 and we don't do ourselves any massive harm in the goal difference. So
that's a great point, man. Because they have -12 in terms of goal differential, and
which is really low compared to what's around them.
Well, I've just checked. The last time they scored more than 1 goal in a game was the start of Feb.
Jeez.
The last time they scored more than 1 goal in a game.
And I don't know if the Leicester fans in the chat can confirm this, but I believe not just Harvey Barnes is out, but I believe Tielemans is day-to-day as well. Is that correct?
I don't know.
Yeah, he's had some ankle or foot injury or something.
I mean,
he's been classed as 50-50 or day-to-day, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're probably their 2 most dangerous.
I think this is a nice interlude, by the way. If you can smash that thumbs up button, that'd be amazing. If you are new, please hit that subscribe. We are trying to get to 2,000 subscribers by the end of the season, which is start of June, which would be amazing. But also go and give Beta Games TV and 9320 Pubcast a lot of love. It to subscribe on them. Beta did an amazing show last night. Why Always Me, and Andy earlier on had a live stream with Mike McLean on and his son, and had an interview with former City left back Terry Phelan.
I'm going to be watching that on the replay.
He was good, to be fair. He was one that probably.
Well, I wasn't expecting to say it's been shit.
No, he was always someone who spoke quite articulately and from the heart, and he used to say interesting things. You know, some footballers just bland platitudes to everything, whereas Phelan, he's, you know, I think players like Horlock the same. There's a few out there who actually, you know, and of course Spenner.
Andy broke my heart earlier. He told me a story that Terry Phelan told him about Gail Kincladze, and it brought me into.
Sorry, I'm just answering questions on Jude Bellingham here with somebody.
Who you answering with?
Where you now?
Does it begin with B?
Yeah, Linda. No.
Are you on with Ben? Are you on with Ben?
Hey?
You on with Ben?
No.
Well, you're going to give us an update live on air.
Getting juicy.
No, he's overhyped. He's overpriced. His shit, apparently, as well. I've heard all day.
Yeah, the narratives have started.
Yeah, and that was from Liverpool fans. Just twist that one around quick. No, listen, I'm expecting a very tough game on Saturday. And do you know what? I think it'll be very similar to Southampton. I think we may have a sticky 20, 25 minutes where it might be a bit frustrating. But I think once we get that goal, I think the floodgates will open then.
Let's not forget when we played this fixture last year against a much stronger Leicester side. We bagged 4 in the first half. And turned into one of the most entertaining games of the season.
Yeah, 6-3. I'm not doing that again.
No. Well, not. I don't mind a 6-3, but not in the way that we did it last time, because we were bricking it. I think
it was like penalty to penalty.
First 10 minutes of the second half. Yeah,
it was like penalty fever last year. I'm not doing that again.
No.
No, it's going to be interesting to see I'm quite interested to see the 11, because, you know, one dilemma Pep is going to have is that Alvarez came on and was superb against Bayern, you know, playing in a slightly different role. Mahrez is going to be banging down his door to play against Leicester, and he's probably quite suited to playing against Leicester.
Yeah, he always
does. You know, and he's not going to play Bernardo, you know, wide at the front. So, you know, I half expect him to rest either Gundo or De Bruyne and bring Bernardo, you know, have Bernardo playing again in the mids. But is he going to start Mahrez? Is he going to start Alvarez? Is he going to take an opportunity to rest, you know, 1 or 2 players? So it's going to be, I think the team's going to be interesting.
Right, well, Vader has to go in a minute. So I want to get Vader's on the team first. Sorry to interrupt. I want to get, because Vader's has to shoot. Vader, do you see any major changes changing in this 11?
You know what? I used to enjoy that question, and now I'm stressing over it because
you're having a lot of cold sweats at the minute, mate. What's going on?
Because we know we play this, and then we play Bayern again, right? And we're traveling, so
we're 3-0 up though.
Yeah, but I think again. I remember when I said this. You're like, oh, so he's prioritizing the Champions League if he doesn't play a strong 11, and this.
This is the problem.
Okay, so. I think if I think keeper, back line, nothing changes. Yeah, I think the midfield, we could see. Oh, but Silva put in such a shift. I mean, we could see Silva rested and actually see Gundo and KDB again, but one of those two being subbed off early for Alvarez. But then in attack, I think Mahrez, Haaland, and Grealish.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing is I think Pep probably has his players on a, you know, in his mind, he has our players who he'll start, and he has our players who he won't start. And I reckon there's, 15 players who are probably on his list of players who'll start. And, you know, the others, you know, that on the other side of the ledger, you've got your Gomez and your Calvin Phillips who aren't going to start. But most of the, most of that 11 or 14, 15 is probably set because Foden's out. So probably his only real dilemmas is, does he rest someone at the back? And does he? I think he probably doesn't play Gundo, Bernardo, and De Bruyne all three. I think he probably rests one of them and brings in a Mahrez or an Alvarez. But I think he's probably just going to be sticking to those 14, 15 players. And, rotation will be 1-2 players each game just to give people a bit of a
why is Bellingham hate appeared in the chat?
Before you go there, I think Pep is just stressing to those guys, let's handle business. Let's get the goals. Let's control the game because we know Rodri's going to need that rest. And between KDB and Gundo, they're going to need to take a spell. But I want to thank you guys for having me on the show. I do have to bounce. Fantastic. I'll continue to listen. See you guys next time.
What is, mate?
See you, mate.
Cheers,
It was a pleasure. Thanks, mate.
We're going to come to Andy because he has to shoot in 5 minutes. Everyone's disappearing.
Sorry, I've been busy. I've been busy today, haven't I? I'm going to throw one out there. I've got a feeling. It's a song now, isn't it? That
I got a feeling.
Grealish won't start on Saturday.
Garbage.
I think that's possible. I think there's going to be players like him who are going to need 1 or 2 games rest in the next 18, and I think
Calvin Phillips in. Why don't we?
No, I think we said 14 or 15 players will start.
Alvarez and Mahrez.
He trusts Alvarez, Mahrez, Foden, and Grealish. He trusts all 4 of them. So, he can rotate. The only question is, I think he'd probably be more likely to rest Grealish when Foden's there because Foden's probably easier to go and play on the left. So my only thing about Grealish resting this week is that it's a more natural, for Foden to go and play instead of Grealish than probably Alvarez or Mahrez. Because Mahrez, I can't recall him playing on the left really for us. And Alvarez, I guess we haven't, maybe he could play on the left as much as on the right, but I don't know. I reckon Grealish might not play against Sheffield United. And that might be the
Pardo Oaks, I totally agree with you. I just got a feeling that's what Pep's going to do, not necessarily what I want. I would always start my strongest and sub off. I just got a funny feeling Pep's just going to.
Yeah,
it's going to.
And in a perfect world, in a perfect world, 3 or 4 up at the hour mark, and then you start doing all your 5 rotations.
And we don't have a true starting 11 because I think there's no question that in a big game, Bernardo playing in the front 3 is our strongest 11. I think against a lesser opponent, Bernardo should be starting.
Trying to start a fight again.
No, but
we do have starting 11, Rich. We do.
I don't agree. So, which is our starting 11? The starting 11 against Bayern, or the starting 11 that you said wouldn't change the week before? Because it
it changed because of injury. Keep having this little debate that you're not listening.
It changed because Bernardo was brought in to make our team far stronger against Bayern Munich.
But we don't know because
Mahrez wasn't injured.
No, Rich.
No, Martin. You said Liverpool, we won't change the starting 11. Mahrez wasn't injured. We changed the starting 11 to bring in Bernardo because against Bayern.
What? No, I didn't. Excuse me. Hang on a minute. What game are you saying I said I changed on?
You said we had a starting 11. We don't change it.
I said it wouldn't be Bernardo against Southampton. It wasn't. It was Mahrez. Bernardo came on later.
Yeah, but
so we didn't change it against
Liverpool. We have a starting 11. It doesn't change. But the starting 11 had Mahrez in, and then it had Bernardo in. Now, I would say that in both those 2 games, that's probably our strongest 11 because against Bayern, you need Bernardo. And that extra power.
No, Rich.
Against Liverpool, against Andy Robertson, you need Mahrez. Because
the one thing I will agree with you on, the right-hand side is the only place at the moment there is room for rotation.
I think when Foden's fully fit, I think they would, if he'll need to rest Grealish once or twice and Foden will play.
No, the problem is we've got here, and this is where I'm going to come to. We're in a position where we can't rest. We are in a title fight. We drop 1 point it goes back to Arsenal's hands.
Yeah, and Martin, the most likely reason we are to drop points is injuries and players going off the ball. If we do what Liverpool did today, Liverpool last year, best team, you cannot deny they were a vastly better team than Real Madrid, but they overplayed their players in all the comps, and they went into a Champions final, and they were all playing at 75.
We're going to do it again, Rich. I'm going to get the starting lineups out for the last 10
Happened
games.
at Chelsea.
And we've made less changes than we've ever made in the season.
What I will say is, I think we need to ease up on Foden, because by the time he comes back,
same debate every week, isn't it?
apart, it's just come, but it's just had his operation. By the time he gets up to speed, match speed, we're going to be another 6 games down the line.
Yeah, he might not have lost.
I think Sheffield United's a good place for Foden to start again.
The FIFA, no, he's not.
It's going to be interesting to see Foden because he hasn't had an actual footballing injury to it. Then it'll be interesting to see what they've been able to do with him to keep his fitness up, and he hasn't had to rehabilitate any of his body or have one leg, stronger than the other, or any of those normal issues. So he may slide back in much more easily than with some other injuries.
See, the only thing I'm saying, like Park Oaks played a good game for Parma. This is where you slip and lose the league.
Parma's not in that. Parma's not in the 15. He's not trusted. I think Alvarez and Mahrez are trusted, and Foden and Grealish.
Yeah, and that's why
they will rotate. I don't think
it's the side I think will rotate. I think the back line doesn't change for the rest of the season, bar injuries. That back line, other than Sheffield United, I don't see that back line changing for the rest of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it may not, but I do think
I don't see Rodri coming out for the rest of the season, bar injury.
Yeah.
Oh, and Sheffield United. I'm going to keep Sheffield United. Let's park as a separate entity, by the way, for the time being.
I mean, Rodri looks a lot fit. He looks a bit fitter and stronger. I think a little bit slimmer and more muscular than he did a few years back. Because my biggest worry this season, with Calvin not being at his best, is that I genuinely think that overplaying Rodri cost us the Champions League a couple of years ago because we overplayed him. He lost his form. So that does worry me, and it's worried me this season. It worried me last season, but he does look stronger, and hopefully we can bring him off after an hour and give him some rest, because if heaven forbid if he gets injured, we'll have to change our back line because Stones is going to go into midfield. We've then got to bring another defender in and change. Stability.
I want to know. Sorry, I want to know what Charlie and FIFA and everyone's thinking. Perona is better than Bellingham. Are on about.
Have you not seen
Peroni can't even get on the City bench.
Yeah, they're just winding you up, Martin.
No, but Peroni can't even get on the City bench, and they're saying he's better than him. Open your eyes.
Can't winding you up. Right, Rich. Let me ask you something, pal. Right, regarding what you just said about Rodri. Great point, and I totally agree. I actually think the back line would change if, God forbid, Rodri was injured, because I think
Stones would have to go, wouldn't he, into midfield?
Yeah, I think he'd trust Stones more there than he would with Phillips.
Yeah. And then you've either got to change your formation a bit by bringing in Walker, or you've got to go to Laporte. And at the moment, I think he probably trusts Walker more than Laporte, because Walker's had some game time and stuff. Laporte seems to be. I mean, Laporte's tweeted he's gone already, so his head's not in it. So we've got to be careful. And I know. Martin says just play the same 11, do it, but we've got to have our medical staff checking these players, and if they're fatiguing, we are going to have to rest them, because otherwise we'll end the season like last season, where we're playing patched up players, we're playing players who aren't fit enough to play. And against Real Madrid, it was that that cost us so dearly. It was playing Stones when he wasn't fully fit, playing Walker when he wasn't fully fit, playing, we had to play Laporte injured through the end of the season. Ake, had that injury. So we've got to make sure we don't overplay and kill ourselves. And that's the hardest thing in management. That's the absolute hardest thing in management. You don't want to weaken your side and lose points early, but equally you don't want to just do what Liverpool do and play your strongest 11 until they're all injured and knackered and you collapse. And we've done more of the latter but we have peaked later in the season. So I think Pep's onto it, and I think he's put in an effort this season and last to try and peak later in the season and keep players fitter for the end of the season.
What I would say, Martin, before I skedaddle and go and spend some time with my wife, I'd say the only difference is, Rich, like the first part of the season and even up until after the Forest game. In fact, I'd say up until the Premier League threw these charges at us, we was chopping and changing. So players would have had a rest, if you get me. Now we've got whereas Arsenal have continuously played their best 11. Yeah. We've not. Yeah. We're only starting to play our best 11 now for the last 15 games of the season. So I think we can cope with that. And by the way, Martin,
they look pretty good shape. I mean, a lot of them look prime. You don't think at the moment we're not seeing Ake. The players who we might have overplayed, Ake and Akanji, Rodri, they don't look fatigued. They do look very on it. So as long as they are, and our medical staff should be among the best in football, as long as they are, then that's fine. They can keep playing. But we just need to, listen to the doctors, listen to the physios. And if they say, Ake needs a week off, or if they say Rodri needs a week off, we're going to have to work out how.
No. Let me explain. Right. I'm not saying the same 11. Just said you can rotate 1, 2. I've rotated 1 or 2 in my life. The difference is,
but ideally, if you can get them substituted in that 60th minute rather than having to play the full 90
put in the chat, it's their opinion.
Long term, that has much better effects.
Bring this guy in, bring that guy in. You start doing that, we're in a league title fight.
We're not changing the starting formation. If it ain't
we're not 10 points clear in the league here, ladies and gentlemen. We can't drop points. Pep is on record as saying 1 loss, we're out the title race. That is what Pep is saying to these lads. And that is how Pep is looking at the league. So he isn't going to be making vast changes like everyone. Because everyone's gone to Tuesday night.
No one has said vast changes. People have just said you rotate 1 or 2 every week.
No, Rich.
Play 14, 15 games.
Rico Lewis, this, that, and the other. They're not ready to do this to come into a title race like this.
And do you remember my point about Rico Lewis and De Bruyne? All of a sudden, you bring Rico in, and he starts suffocating De Bruyne's space when De Bruyne is bang on his form, and that is the only Peroni what will be starting. He will not be starting.
Peroni doesn't even get on the bench at the moment. So anyone who's got him better as Bellingham needs to go and seriously have their eyes tested. Seriously.
I'm going to have to skedaddle because wifey wants to see me. She's forgot what I look like. Thank you very much. Listen, Rich, pleasure. Pleasure. Martin, thanks, always a pleasure, never a chore. Guys, and thanks very much.
See you soon.
Fatigue doesn't exist when you're winning. Exactly, Super Sitter. Sub 2 says Viega is better than Bellingham and Perona. We're going to get into this Bellingham thing in a minute. Because I am baffled why some think he's a waste of money. Rodri's looking good. No, the Rich. I've seen loads. There are loads of City fans who think.
And I quite agree with Julie's comment. Rodri is looking strong and fit, and he's not looking fatigued. So
he is a cyborg.
Let's hope that
how well he's kept his tan during the cold.
He's a cyborg, Rich.
Let's hope that stays because he's he at the moment. Him and Stones are, they're the irreplaceable players in our squad. I think one of those two getting injured would be almost worse than, a Haaland or someone because I think, Alvarez is fantastic. But you know, Stones, I think, is arguably playing as the best defender in the world at the moment. I think he had a good World Cup. I think, you know, his passing from the back was probably the strongest of any player at the World Cup. I think since he's come back in 23, he's been playing fantastically in 3 different roles. So, and I think Rodri's become absolutely vital. And I think the drop off from Rodri to Phillips is huge. So, you know, those two need cotton wool, salt thrown over their shoulders, touching wood, crossing fingers, because, you know, we've got to keep those two fit. Got to.
All right, then. I mean, I'll give you my 11. My 11 is just 2 changes. And only one of them is forced because I don't know.
And to be honest, I'll probably go for, I'd only change 2 players because
I wouldn't change any of the back line. This thing with Kyle Walker, you have to realise, to play Kyle Walker, you have to go to a back 4. You can't invert them. Pepper's come out on record.
You can't invert Kyle Walker, but no. I do think.
I
think if we had an injury in defence, I think what they would do is it would still be Stones inverting.
Maybes again.
Yeah, no, but it's not an if and maybe. The chances are we are going to get injuries. The chances are we will get an injury. You know, it'll be a miracle if we go the next 18 weeks without getting a couple of injuries. Just being realistic. So Pep, you know, in his mind, he'll be thinking, well, what happens if it's Stones? What happens if it's Akanji? What happens if it's De Bruyne? Because it'll happen. We'll get suspensions. We'll get injuries.
Yeah, and then we bring Emerick Laporte, who's in a pissed off mood, not playing all season, and he ain't going to give a damn.
Yeah. I think it depends who the player is as to.
And he's out on Instagram saying goodbye messages.
Yeah, I think that he would bring in Walker ahead of Laporte. I think Stones would continue to invert, and Walker would just be playing on the right of the back 3. Which Walker does do that quite well. What Walker can't do is go into midfield.
No, that isn't what Pep said. Pep said he's not very good.
But Pep,
system.
But you
Pep's his boss, Rich.
Pep changes in circumstance. If tomorrow Akanji gets injured, now listen, man. If tomorrow Akanji gets injured, what Pep says happens when Akanji's fit is irrelevant.
If me and he had wheels, should be a bike.
Yeah, but what world do you live in where we're going to have no injuries for the rest of the season and no player's going to get tired in 18 cup finals? What world is that? It's not the real world. It's not the real world.
Everything's fine, but Rich is playing an all if buts and maybes. I get hit by a bus tomorrow.
No, because you have to plan for if buts and maybes because they happen.
Yes, Rich, he'll plan, but what you have to realise is Pep Guardiola doesn't come out and publicly destroy a player.
Right, tomorrow, what would you do, right?
I'm allowed to speak. You don't let me speak.
No, I'm asking you a question to explain what you do, right? Tomorrow, Ruben Diaz gets COVID and he's out for 10 days. What do you do with the team for Saturday and for Bayern?
Say that again. If Diaz is out,
Ruben Diaz gets COVID. He can't play for 2 weeks. Who do you start in the back 4?
Who would I start in the back 4? Ake, Diaz.
He's injured. Diaz is out. Yeah.
This is the problem. You'd have to change your back 4 and change your whole system around.
Well, no. Would you not try? Would you not? To me, the least change you could do. I mean, you could bring in Laporte if you really trusted him and try and do everything the same, or you could bring in Walker and still have Stones inverting into midfield or going into midfield from centre-back like he did against Bayern, because against Bayern he didn't invert from full-back, he inverted from centre-back. So could you not just play Stones and, Stones at centre-back with Akanji and then have, Stones inverting and going into midfield from centre-back and, Walker playing back? Because Walker plays a back 3 fine. What he doesn't do is go into midfield fine. He can't do that. But you can still have Stones going into midfield. He just does it from centre back, not right back, and that's what he did against Bayern. And I don't see why Walker couldn't play the Akanji role against Bayern. I think he can do that fine. He just can't play the Rico Lewis, Fabian Delph, John Stones fullback role.
No, I just think at the moment, I think we're very stuck on our systems at the moment. You look at Walker against Southampton; he came on.
Yeah,
he was
and I'm saying, and that's what I'm saying.
Awful. He was the cause of the goal.
Walker could come in and play the Akanji role against
Southampton.
He can play the role. That was 5 players around that. I mean, that was a.
Rich, we were defensively perfect until that happened.
Yeah, but that player went through the middle of 5 players. But no, and what
you don't like Pep. You don't like the fact some players are coming to the end now and they're done.
No. I am just thinking that I think the biggest danger to Premier League teams, because I've seen it time and time again, is overplaying their players and going into games against inferior opposition in the Champions League and being beaten because of tiredness and injuries. That Liverpool side, that City side were both far better than Real Madrid on the overall season last year.
I heard it all on Tuesday. Walker's going to play. Walker's going to play. Walker's going to play. And I told everyone, to a man and a woman, Walker ain't getting near this team on Tuesday night. And everyone, Rich, told me Walker was playing.
No, I was the only one who said he might play. Everyone else.
No, everyone was nailed on Walker.
On the panel, I said I think Walker.
I'm talking about on other shows as well. Everyone had Walker.
I wasn't.
And I said, no,
I wasn't.
Pep. All right, Pat, you didn't.
Yeah.
I said, Pep.
Neither did Vega. Neither did Alan.
Vega did have Walker in.
But that's the point. Yeah. And that worries me that, we've Pep's got to think injuries up front. I think we know what would happen. We've got cover.
See, it's your own insecurities where it's coming from.
Injuries in midfield. I think we've got one cover in that we've got Bernardo.
Yeah, but Neil Haystack, Pat, Neil had a very good point. Does the way we play with our tempo and our passing, that looks so weird how you did that, and our passing, does our team get breaks in games anyway?
Yeah, I think so.
Some players do, yeah.
So they're resting anyway, aren't they, during the game?
I think so.
By the way, did you see that Haaland ran 12 Ks during the Bayern game? I think they said it was the most he's ever run in a game, and just shows how his game's changing. An assist, 12 Ks. That didn't get much coverage for Mr. Tap-In Merchant.
Acrobatic Tap-In Merchant.
Sadly, mate, I think Laporte the dummy's already gone out, mate. The dummy's out and it ain't coming back out. Laporte it's sad. It's sad, but Laporte Sergio Gomez is getting more play time than Laporte, and that tells you everything you need to know. Yeah,
Laporte's, he's gone. He's trying to do his poetic thinking he's Eric Cantona tweets, but he's, the only question for Laporte is he going to find someone who'll actually sign him? Because,
it's not about agreeing, Charlie. It's Rich's opinion, and it's fine, and I understand the opinion. I'm just saying, I'm looking at it from a Pep point of view. And Pep, for the last 10 games, has been quite, other than injury, I'm not rotating anymore. The rotation game's finished. It's done with at the moment. If you play, Mahrez played very well against Liverpool, went and played against Southampton, was crap, and then got benched the next game because we're at a stage where you can't come in and play.
Martin, in the last 10 games, we've had 3 weeks with no midweek game and a 2-week international break. So fatigue hasn't remotely even been a question in those 10 weeks, in those 10 games, because we've had a lot of breaks.
Well, I'll tell you what, Alan lost a bet with me on Tuesday. and I still need sending details for. Would you like a bet, Rich?
Don't bet with Alan. I want this on record. Don't bet with Alan. I've had 2 bets with him, one of which involved him having to shave his head and get a grade 2, and one of which was $100. And has he ever cut his hair or paid me $100? I even told him he could pay it to charity, and he could pay an extra $100 not to have his hair cut. Pay $200 to charity. Has he done it? No.
Do you know what it is? Do you know what I think
is
the big kicker here? That Sheffield United game is the big kicker for me. I'm being 3-0 because we've got that. Because after Saturday, you then roll to Bayern Munich. We are 3-up because I think the Bayern Munich game will be the same 11 that played the other night. Get that game won because the Bayern Munich game is an advantage to us because Bayern have to score 4 to get through. So they've got to come and open straight away. And that will just play straight to our hands. City will score at least 1 in the Allianz Arena, which means Bayern have to bag 4 to draw. So to me, this is where then you're at Sheffield United. And that's when I think Laporte, Rico Lewis, Sergio Gomez, that's when you can start. Alvarez will start. This is when you can start rotating around.
And with 2 of their best players out too, it just means that we have a lot more flexibility as well.
Yeah, because the last time he fully rotated was Burnley.
Yes.
And then after that, he went, nope. And then they all went back out again. Just at the minute, I think it's a bit... Until Arsenal drop some more points, we're kind of in a situation where we just have to go full pelt till we can go no more. I think I understand Rich's thing of the being, dropping, but the trouble is you drop a Kevin De Bruyne and you bring in somebody else and you don't win the game, you know what's then going to be said afterwards. Well, he's dropped down and this, that, and the other, and we've given the advantage back.
But to be honest, at the moment, if you rest Kevin De Bruyne, you're playing Gundo and Bernardo and Rodri.
No, I mean, see, I've got Alvarez playing on Saturday instead of Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah, no, I mean, Alvarez was fantastic against Bayern. He was absolutely fantastic, and he has been playing out of his skin, and Pep must be wondering how to get Alvarez in. So, yeah, I think, as I said, I think there's 14, 15 players Pep trusts, and they'll play, and he won't want to use anyone not on that list.
Anyway, let's get into it. Is any Pat win, lose, or draw Saturday?
Win by 3 goals, I think. 3-0, 4-1. I'm not sure.
Rich?
I tend to agree. I think it's going to be a comfortable win, but not a thrashing. I think I can see 3-1, something like that, but not one where we're 1-0 down for a long period of the game. I think it'll be, a comfortable 2-3 goal win.
Right. We'll move on then. I think I said 4-0, but I don't think it'll be a 4.
I'd love to see us get a few early goals and, Rodri.
Yeah.
If we did a repeat of that first half when they came to the ETIHAD last season, then...
Yeah, but when I say 4-0, I think it'll be 1-0 at half time, and then the second half will go on and tire them out and bury them. But I think 4-0. A nice
you're just saying that because historically we score more goals when we're playing towards the family stand. So you just get more entertainment from your
Right, let's move on. And I wasn't going to do this, but I am going to ask it. 130 million quid, 150 million euros. Is that too much money for Jude Bellingham?
No, not for a player who could potentially be at the club for 15 years.
Thank you. Rich?
I agree. I think he is potentially a generational talent. He's
since Danny Alsop.
He's very young, and I think for players like him and players like him and Haaland, potentially Guardiola, I think if you're signing the cream of the crop, especially with the value to an English player to an English club, I think it's a good deal. Whether it is worth it, only hindsight will tell. But I think for what he's done and being captain of Dortmund at that age and being you know, he's not someone we're taking. You know, people say we're taking a chance on. Well, I don't think you really are, because I think he's had 2-3 great seasons in a top league, and he's played well at international football. So, and he's played Champions League. So, I don't think it's like signing. You know, at Chelsea they signed Fernandes. That's a bit risky. That's someone who's had a few months at the top level.
This is the thing.
Had a few years. So, yeah, I think it's.
You look at Enzo Fernandez. Enzo Fernandez left left River Plate to Benfica for what was it, 20 million euros?
I don't think it was even that. I thought it was
not even that.
8 or
6
10.
months later, the next transfer window in. So we're talking what, August to January? How long is that? August, September, October, November.
Yeah,
5 months. 5 months later, he's gone to 125 million in 5 months. 5 months.
Benfica have increased the profit or doubled or effectively increased the profit based on how many months. They bought him for 20, sold him for 100, so they multiplied by 5. So that effectively is multiplied for every month he played at Benfica.
Yeah. I was sat there going, how have they got that in 5 months? That is crazy how they've even got to that level. But anyway, this is the thing with Jude.
You know, Jude's had nearly 200 first-team appearances in club and international football.
Spot on. He's 19. You said it, Rich. He's a captain at 19 years of age. 19 and he's club captain. And this is where everyone looks at it and they're all looking at him as a Gundogan replacement. The reason why I've always said KDB replacement is look at the way he performed in the World Cup for England. He was always on that peripheral of the top of the diamond. In you go, passing left and right and the ball through from Foden to Kane. Kevin De Bruyne is our transitional guy. Jude is a transitional player.
Yeah.
Got the pace. He can. Now, the thing is, at 19, can he get better? Yes, this is the scary thing. Under Pep Guardiola, Jude Bellingham is going to get better. And the other thing is why I think 130 million is probably worth it is you're talking a 10-year player. People need to stop pretending City are stepping stones to everywhere else. We heard it over Aguero. We heard it over Company. We heard it over who else, Rich?
Silva.
De Bruyne. Everyone was off to Real Madrid from us. They didn't. They all did 10 years.
And then the players that do treat it like a stepping stone, what happens to them?
Yeah, I think that's a huge point, actually.
Yeah,
is you know, apart from the ones who went to Arsenal, you know, who have done well, and you know, that's probably because Arteta's there. He knew them backwards, and he's trying to do not too dissimilar to what he learned at City. Nearly all our other players who've gone, you'd probably say, would they, you know, even Sané or
130 million
Sterling or whoever you're talking about, most of them probably would say they wish they hadn't gone because they were doing better at City. The exception, I think, being Zinchenko and Jesus, because they've gone to a club who are playing very, very similar football to a manager who knew them backwards. But most of the others, I'd say, have been disappointing on leaving. And that reflects probably that A, Pep was getting the best out of them in a way that other managers weren't. B, they were players suited to be part of a machine, not just to be, you know, thrown into a machine that's not working. But, you know, why would they go? I mean, why would Haaland, honestly, you know, why would Haaland go? Like all this talk, he's playing in the Premier League is the biggest league without question. And we are, you know, one of the top two. I won't be arrogant. I think we're the best, but the league table doesn't lie over a season. So at the moment, Arsenal have had a better season than us in the Premier League. But he's playing for the, you know, best team. So why would he go?
Can I just say, does anyone know? Because Money Ducks put here, there's other alternative cheaper. What can anybody give me the alternatives? Because Declan Rice is how old? Does anyone know how Declan Rice is? 24.
24.
How much is he going to be? 70 million?
No, I think they'll want 100, best part of 100 million for him.
Yep.
They might do an exchange, which makes it.
Yeah. How much would McAllister be, Alexis McAllister?
Oh, well, it'll start at 70 million, and by the end of it, it'll be about 120.
You start at 70.
So that's right.
How much was Caicedo going for at Arsenal? What did Arsenal have to pay?
Went up to 90 million.
Yeah, 90 to 100 million. Yeah. This is my point. Whoever you get, you're going to be paying nearly 100 million. The difference is the other players we're talking about are 24. You're talking a player who is English, a captain, and 5 years younger. You've got to look at it. You're getting some English tax because he's English.
Yep.
You're also getting, let's be straight here. I tell you why I'd be happy with it. We got Erling Haaland at a snip. Let's be also a bit fair to Dortmund back the other way here. This is where the good relationship comes.
Mm.
Do you think it was fair we got Haaland out for 51 million quid? Really? Come on. So
it would have been even if we paid 101 million.
You don't know whether there could have been something said. If you come back in 12 months, pay full whack for Jude, we're happily going to let you have Haaland like this. 51, see you out the door.
Yep.
Sometimes.
Plus, we'll keep the relationship strong too, because if they're ever interested in any of our academy players,
Fever, I'd love to know why.
Send the other way with a sell-on or a buyback.
No, he's not joking. Honestly, FIFA, mate, I love you, but why? Peroni can't even get on our bench. Peroni will be out on loan next year. I promise you he will be.
Yep.
Promise you. Gabri Vega. I don't know. I've only watched him on YouTube, mate. And he looks a very volatile player.
I think he looks exciting, but he's what we said about Enzo. He's a player who has had 6 great months, but not hasn't got 200 top class games under his belt. So Vega is a gamble. He's one who could be a brilliant player, or he could be a risk. So
he's a bit of a loose cannon too.
Yeah, he does have what Pep likes, so he does have that ability to, really take players on, be really direct and take risks. I mean, he looks like, again, mainly from YouTube, but he looks like that kind of player who'll take risks. And so for me, that's more off the bench, a game breaker. It's not someone you're signing to start every week. I think we might need 2 or 3 midfielders as well. So to me, it's not Jude or someone else. It's Jude and someone else. Bernardo goes and Gundo goes, I'd like 3 because I think we're already 1 short.
McAllister is still looking at nearly 100 million, captain.
Yeah. McAllister's a player who I think has a really high ceiling. The Brighton players, he's the one the Brighton players think is their kind of generational talent. He's flexible. McAllister looks to me like someone who could play in about 10 positions as well. So he's I'd like McAllister, but it's just a massive dealing with Brighton.
Do you know, I wasn't impressed with Musiala the other day, Superstar. I was excited to watch him. I wasn't that excited afterwards.
I think you need to watch more of him. I think you need to watch more of him, Martin, because otherwise you're going to fall down that cliff of Bellingham's poor because he had 1 bad performance against Chelsea.
Listen, Gavi might be, but for me, you've also got the homegrown. You got to think as well. We have got a homegrown we need to fill.
I read something years ago that the City's intentions were, I think they were saying by sort of like the mid-2020s, they wanted more than 40% of the squad to be homegrown.
That's the way Pep's always done it. Go to Barcelona, Spanish. Go to Germany, German. He likes a core of where he is.
Gavi's a fascinating one because
he's
not a Barcelona lad. He's from Seville, so he's not like Pedri and so many of their players have been a Catalan who's born and bred. He's an outsider who came to Barcelona, signed I think from Betis, not Seville. But there's a whole lot of legal repercussion in that. And if someone does make an aggressive move for Gavi, I think it really it's like,
I think it's going to end up in court, that one.
Rich with Gavi. Gavi's one of those players I would happily have at City for 4 or 5 years. And if you want to go back to Barca, then go.
Yeah,
listen, you're not going to
have a contract agreement where after 4 or 5 years, if Barcelona are financially,
we won't. I don't think City will because of
legal wranglings
and because of the legal wranglings. I don't think we are going to go and what would be seen by Barcelona as stealing a 100 million player for nothing. So I think if someone does that, like Chelsea are rumoured to be going through, if they go that and they make a really aggressive move, I think that will really put some big rifts into football, bigger than there already are. I think if we were going to get Gavi, we would want to do it offering a cheaper fee, even if perhaps we don't have to give Barcelona an out. And possibly that's the way they get Laporte or something like that they can't afford. But I do think Gavi's is potentially, like Bellingham, a generational talent. You know, you could see in a World 11 in 5 years' time, Gavi and Bellingham in that kind of 2 of the 3 midfield roles.
Yeah.
But I think Gavi, we would not want to go and aggressively pursue that. But it is possible that if someone like Chelsea aggressively pursues it and we offer a different option that gives Barca something, gives Gavi something, and, you know, maybe that could happen. And, you know, he's certainly, you know, he's got a bit of attitude as well. He's like he's got a bit of Fernandinho in getting a bit dirty and niggly and everything else. So he's got something. But I think Bellingham, I think it isn't the risk people talk about, because I think you're almost signing a 24-year-old in terms of experience and quality and everything else, but he just happens to be 19. And maybe we're going to have to take back some of our 17-year-old Jude Bellingham jokes we made for years, because he turns out to actually be the player, you know, that he was being hyped up to be 2.5 years ago.
De Jong, what happened? Because De Jong's he's on stupid wages.
He doesn't want to go. He
doesn't want to leave.
To stay.
Yes, McAllister is off to Liverpool. Fabrizio said there.
Will they pay? It'd be a great signing for Liverpool.
The trouble is, they're going to have to pay for someone rich. They're going to pay 50 or 60 or 70 million for Mount. Exactly. People are talking about Jude at 130. Should we go and spend 70 on Mount?
I'll tell you the player I'd like to see us go for this summer. And I think they may have to sell if someone comes with a really big offer, is Reece James. I still really rate him as a player. And Chelsea need to raise some money, and the only way they raise money is homegrown players. So maybe they'll get enough from all their, you know, from the Mounts and their, you know, Gallaghers and Loftus-Cheeks and stuff. Maybe they can raise 150 million from 7 or 8 of those. But I'd love to see us have a go at Reece James. And I think England players, because his next job's England manager.
The other question of Reece James is, given the current format, given the current system Pep plays, is how well would Reece James into the inverted fullback?
Pep would change.
Otherwise, it's just a more expensive.
He's up again. See, Richard hasn't been dying on a hill on this formation.
Based on the players he has.
No,
if
Rich.
Pep had Hernandez and Reece James, he wouldn't be playing the formation he's playing.
We'll have a bet right now. Let's go with it. I'm telling you, next season we play the same formation.
What, every single game?
That'll be our formation.
Right. Okay. I'll do that bet. I'll do that bet. As long as you said my bet. Okay. I think the bet should be that we will change our, and you can even take Sheffield United out of this. We will change our 11 in the rest of this season. Not based on injuries.
Changing the bet now. We'll talk off screen about this. Anyway.
You sound like a Failsworth Margaret Thatcher. No. It's not returning.
I'm not sure if it's Sam Lee or somebody else. Bernardo was in the mixer zone, which is where the all the players do their interviews and everything after the game on Tuesday. And Bernardo was asked about leaving, or was he now happy and willing to stay? And apparently he just straight batted it away. I think with Bernardo, I've always said, I think he genuinely wants, I think he loves Serre. I think he loves playing for Manchester City, and he'll always give 120% when he plays. I just think he wants to go out of Manchester. I've always said it. I don't think it's football. I think it's a personal thing.
Close to the home. That's it. We saw it with Sane.
Yeah.
Saw it with Ferran Torres. They just want to be close to the home.
He just wants to go to be close to home. He did. I thought he wasn't that great. I'll be honest with you. But then again, you all shouted him because of the Sane. I wouldn't say anyone from Bayern was outstanding. Thought City were just spectacular. I don't see Foden going in the middle. Me and LB agreed on that. I don't see Foden ever going in the middle for some weird reason. So I don't know. Is there anyone?
Just quickly, just to answer the question on the screen on Gavi.
Yeah.
Gavi signed a contract as a first-team player at Barcelona this season. A long contract, couple of $100K a week. But Barcelona weren't meeting their financial fair play rules at the time he signed it. So the Spanish league challenged the new contract, and the court cancelled it. It got appealed. Barca won. It got reappealed, and the league won. He then had his contract cancelled, and he's gone back onto a youth team contract. So he's gone back onto his youth team number, and he's back on $3,000 a week or whatever he was, 10 grand a week, whatever he was earning as a youth player. Barcelona are challenging that because they've obviously got that. As to whether he can leave on a free, no one fully knows, because even if he's a youth player,
how old is that?
His youth contract, isn't he about 19?
So he still goes to a tribunal anyway, and that's where.
Well, I think he's still got a year or two left on his contract as a youth player, so I think they can sell him, but they're selling him from a position of him being on $5,000 a week and only having a couple of years left. As
he's 18, he turns 19 in August.
Yeah, he had $1 billion buyout clause.
I don't know what's. I'll tell you now. Barcelona will not end up with a transfer ban by the summertime. They will somehow, I don't know how they're going to do it. They will wiggle this all around.
They're Houdinis of that stuff.
Yeah, because Ilkay Gundogan, apparently today, his agent was talking with Barcelona execs. Messi has come out and said he's out about, he's leaving PSG. We kind of all know where he's off to. Yes, I always said he'll go back home. It's got to be, I don't know how they do it, but Rich, you might be able to tell me how to do this, but they literally do get themselves wrangled back out of these problems that they go into. I don't know how to do it. You are the CFO. How are they getting out of these problems?
The only way Barca really get out of these problems is selling 3 or 4 players for good money, and that's why they're desperately trying to say they're going to get 100 million for Ansu Fati, and City are really interested. So, they're going to have
that's not going to happen because clubs know they're going to sell, so they're not going to have. They're not going to have the. They're not going to be.
They're also desperate. They're desperate to do things like get Busquets off their books because he's on 400 grand a week or something, and so they'll want to try and get a couple of the older guys. That's why they persuaded Piqué to retire. They need some of those older players off their books, on freeze. They may even pay them a little bit to go. They then need to sell 3 or 4 players of who they think they can get good fees for, which is only going to be the likes of, Ansu Fati, possibly, and, they wanted to get rid of De Jong for a big fee and to save the wages, but he's not interested in going. So they've got to do that. And if they do all that, then maybe they can sign a few players. But if they were to say sign Bernardo or Laporte, they've probably got to raise 200 million and save 2 million a week in wages to be able to sign players like Laporte or Bernardo. Now, the only reason I can see they can possibly do that is if they sell, you know, players who they can get 50, 100 million for. And I don't see people offering that for Fatty. I can see someone paying 50 to 100 million for Gavi if it's deemed that a fee has to be paid and he's still on his youth income. I can see people paying big, but he's one of their crown jewels, and I think they'd like to keep Pedri and Gavi at all costs. But they may have to accept that they aren't going to find someone who's going to pay 100 million for Fatty, or, you know, come and pay 70 million for Rafinha or 60 million for Ferran Torres, which is what they're asking. And the other problem they've got is that the second they sell Ferran Torres, they have to pay City all the money they owe. So actually selling him cash-wise may not help the P&L, but if they get 50 million for him, if they get 40 million for him and then they have to pay us 45 because they still owe us 45, then that's not helping.
5 million in the hole and they've lost the player they need to replace.
And they've got to redo their ground, because I think they've registered with UEFA that they're not playing at the Camp Nou next year in the Champions League. They're playing somewhere else. So they've got money. They're going to be losing.
The revamp's looking half decent, isn't it, with our money? Muddy Duck, don't believe that, mate. The deal's already agreed. Whoever's buying Jude is not now putting bids in. The bid went in a long time ago, mate.
No, I think what Muddy Duck's alluding to is like the media is trying to portray it like City's the only club with a blank checkbook.
Interested in Maddison. I think we were in January as a replacement for Bernardo. I don't think we are anymore.
He's going to Newcastle.
He'll go to Newcastle.
Newcastle's a good
Tottenham as well, apparently, are very interested. If you are, please smash
career suicide.
If you are enjoying it, smash that subscribe button, smash that thumbs up. We are trying to get to 2K before June the 10th. That'd be amazing. If Bernardo stays, I'll be very, very surprised. Yeah, I'll be buzzing, but I will be massively surprised if he stays. Is there anyone else you do think? Is Gundogan going to go, do you think? Is Gundogan out the door, do we think?
Much as I don't want him to, I feel like it's going to happen.
It does seem like he's off. I mean, you know, in a way, I don't blame him. I think, you know, going on a high is a good thing, and I think we saw, you know, say Company absolutely smashing it going out on a high, and a few of our others like, you know, Yaya, you know, even to an extent Aguero had a period, you know, off their peak before they left. And I think Silva went at the right time. He was getting a bit older, but I think there's a lot to be said for players going at their peak and going without doing anything to tarnish legacy or reduce their powers or even fall out of love with the club, because a player who stays a year too long, doesn't play, falls out of love. I've said on record I'd like him to stay, because I'd like him to be coaching. I'd like him to be helping the young players come through. I still think he's a world-class player. But it seems to me if he was staying, he would have signed and agreed a deal by now. So unless he's waiting on Barca and they can't commit and he might stay at City, I don't know.
I think if he was staying, you'd have heard about it by now.
Yeah, no, I think he'd have re-signed. Yeah. You know, not many players get to the last few months and then
we're getting to what, the 15th of April, middle of April.
He's got 6 weeks he's out of contract, isn't it? Or is it 10 weeks? But
the thing is, he will have already probably. I think he already knows where he's going.
And I do think the kind of player he is, he could play to 37, 38. I don't think he could do that in the Premier League, but I think he could sign a 3-4 year contract in Spain, and you know, he could have a lifestyle that perhaps he wants in the sunshine, and he could play at the top of his game in La Liga. Like, you know, Silva is still looking fantastic. He's 37 now, isn't he? Still looking fantastic in Spain, but I don't think he could be doing that in the Premier League, even as possibly our best ever player. So I think Gundo will be looking at that and thinking, yeah, I can do 4 years at the top of the Spanish league, and getting good money. He'll get a massive signing on fee wherever he goes because it's a free. So, for the rest of his life and everything else, it's a good bet, especially if we can win the Champions League this year. He goes out having done it all at City.
A way to leave, yeah. That's
especially
but look, Martin, without trying to bring up a certain word that starts with T and ends with rebel, with T and ends with rebel. If something like that were to happen, then there's no better way to see these players out.
We're not
winning. Rebel. You're talking about the Barney Rebel?
No, it starts with T, ends with rebel.
No, the Barney Rebel.
Okay, well, yeah, you go have fun with your Barney.
You don't need to worry.
Oh, you're talking about the treble. Vader's not here now. Treble.
Starts with T, ends with rebel. Yeah.
Yeah, Pat, we're not winning the FA Cup. Brighton are winning the FA Cup. So
yeah, Brighton Sheffield final. Yeah.
No, Brighton are going to beat City in the FA Cup final.
Shut up. Who will get the next statue? The next statue, I think, Mauro, has been commissioned. From what I've heard, is going to be Bowley. It's going to be a bronze Bowley and Summer Trio.
Yeah. And then for FIFA's sake, the next statue will be Peroni.
Do you know City do have a statue at the stadium before Aguero, Company, and David Silva? Anyone know?
Are you thinking? I'm thinking.
It's not outside the stadium.
No. Is it statue of Troutman or something? Isn't it? Is it when you walk in the main foyer, the Colin Bell stand? There's a statue of.
There is a Bert Troutman statue.
There's a Bert Troutman statue. That's right.
It's in the main foyer.
Yeah, that's right.
So actually, a little trivia tip for you all: who was the first statue in the ETIHAD was actually Bert Troutman.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm looking forward to in about 7 years' time when we build a 50-foot high John Stones statue out of stones. When he overtakes Alex,
you build it out of pebbles.
Boulders, mate. No, you build it out of bloody boulders.
Jesus. Money, look, I'm with you. I think Cancelo goes. Cancelo ain't coming back. Cancelo got told by the fans. The fans told Cancelo, "Do not come back
to wear the shirt."
On Tuesday night. We sang "You're not fit to wear the shirt" and booed him. He is not coming back in the building.
And I saw it.
He may come back in to get his stuff to go back out again, but he ain't putting on the shirt.
You could see that. I saw a few City fans clap Sané, so you could see the difference.
Oh, we clapped Sané.
Sané clapped, Cancelo booed.
I want to add one more to that list, Muddy Duck. I think Cancelo goes, Laporte 100% goes, Gundogan I think goes, Walcott I think does. If Sheffield United sort their finances out and they're allowed to be promoted, I think he does go there.
Yeah, I think he'll end his career at Sheffield United. I think he wants to.
Yeah, I think we'll sell him for like £1 million to him. Something really daft in his last year. Do you know my big shocker? I think might end up leaving.
Mahrez.
And that's how you get Alvarez into the squad, into more 11s.
Yeah, I can see Mahrez going to PSG, someone to match his salary, and going back to Paris.
Yeah, if someone, to be honest, if he wants to go, and he's shown absolutely no sign that he's remotely interested in leaving, and I think Mahrez is the sort of player. If he said I'm interested in going, or a deal came in, I think City would be open to it. But if he's not interested and his agent's not interested, then he won't. And he's someone who's shown no signs of wanting to leave City.
Paul, I appreciate what you're saying. Michael Johnson was going to be a superstar at Manchester City. Sadly, the demons in his life took over. Sadly, Michael Johnson would have been a superstar.
Those demons because of injury. You know, he had mental demons. And I think
a similar thing happened to Micah Richards too.
I've asked this question's popped up a couple of times. It's something me, Rich, and Ozzy will talk about. We don't know. Rich and Ozzy might not fully know about it. I don't know how I feel about it because it's something I promised we'd never charge anyone for this channel. I know members. I've had numerous people ask me now about memberships. I know if it's something we'll talk about, and I'll come back to you. I might do a video and get a poll out. I don't know. Something we always said we'd never charge people. I know it can be 99p and it can be a contribution to the channel, but I don't even want to do it just as if we ever do it. I don't want to do it as 99p and there's nothing for it. If we ever do it, it'll be for something. Might not be videos, might be other things like prize draws a month or something. Something we need to think about. But because now so many are asking, I will have, me, Rich and Ozzy will have the conversation. But it's something that doesn't sit fully with us at the moment because we made the promise we'd never charge. So, because we're not here for the money. I mean, Rich is, but I'm not. I want the FA Cup. I don't even know if Rich and Ozzy and Pat know what channel memberships are. So, yeah, Rich is looking like, how much? What? But, yeah, I'll go into it. The keeper, yes, Bert Troutman. What do you think? I mean, I'm trying to think. Is there any big surprises you might think will leave? Like any big? Because I think there'll be. I think McAtee will end up out on loan. I think Doyle will end up out on loan, and I think Perrone will end out on loan, and Sergio Gomez will end out on loan.
I think Palmer might. I think Palmer will go.
Palmer, that's it.
You mentioned it before. Martin Palmer of Burnley would be a good fit.
I would have Perrone and Palmer both out to Burnley.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not, it's hard to see anyone who's in that 14-15 he'd play and trusted by Pep. It's hard to see anyone in that group really wanting to go. I mean, I think Walker's on the periphery of it. He's 34, isn't he? By the summer, so he's always talked about his true love being Sheffield United. So, in a way, you'd quite like to see him go back there for the last couple of years of his career. I think the only one that could really be a surprise would be someone like Calvin Phillips, depending whether Pep thinks he's going to come good with a year of training and if he's fit, or whether Pep thinks maybe he isn't. I still think Calvin Phillips is more likely to start for us at centre back than centre midfield at the moment. I just don't think that Pep trusts him in that pivotal role in the team. So maybe he goes and we sign someone else to back up Rodri.
Leave that with us, Alec. This is what I'm saying, Charlie. If we do memberships, it won't be for streams. We'll never do member streams on air. Tell you that now. I know others do. We won't. If we do memberships, it will be for a prize draw to win something at the end of the month.
And I can tell you,
that's the only thing I would never do it on. So you get some back.
We won't be releasing a topless calendar of Martin, Pat, and me either, so you can rest assured.
And I'm talking like retro shirts, footballs, if we match tickets. If we do,
my OnlyFans.
Yeah, my OnlyFans. If we ever do a membership, it'll be back to you people. It's your channel. It will never be to put into our line, our pockets. But again, it's something we need to talk about. So we'll end it there. But I can promise you, we will never ever do it for member-only streams. Never.
The only reason we might line our pockets is because we're walking with the cash over to the ground to give a donation to MCFC Food Bank or something like that.
Oh dear, let us get to 2,000. We're on about merch now. Rich, stand up. Give us a model of the latest Mancunian Way hoodie.
What you can do though, just to everyone is, if you love what Martin's doing, you can always go to the family stand and give him a can of Tiger and a curly whirly, and that will make his day.
Yeah. The Failsworth entree.
Palmer on loan taking it. No, we're not. Is it fair for Cole Palmer to be sat back on the bench again next season
and just play cup games?
No.
No, he needs football.
Alvarez ahead. It's not fair on him, mate.
I would love to see Palmer go to Burnley on loans. Go to Burnley on loan, and he's the main contributor for them staying up next season.
Spot on, Charlie. Howard Bellisondale and Pat. Oh, Martin, do a t-shirt. Respect, but never fear. Like it. Mancunian way t-shirt. Whoa, can we just hit 2,000? We've gone from we want memberships to we want merch. You'll be wanting a rich OnlyFans next.
Alluding to what Pardo Oaks just said, it's like, yeah, if Laporte leaves, I've always agreed the fifth centre back should be an academy player. Whether it's Howard Bellis, Callum Doyle, even what's his name? He plays centre back in the academy at the moment. Shea Charles.
But
the fifth choice should be academy.
If we are playing 4 centre backs every week, and if we don't sign fullbacks, and we are playing 4 centre backs every week, then you no longer need 5 centre backs. You need about 8. So I think if we are playing the 4,
I suppose Pep's
if we can't get
determines that,
fullbacks, and we are going to go with what we're doing, we're going to need. I think we'll need Bellis back and Gvardiol if Laporte goes at a minimum.
And Callum Doyle.
We want 8 good defenders, and 1 or 2 of those could be, Howard Bellis and Rico Lewis could be 2 of them, but that still means we need 6. And I don't think if Laporte goes, I don't think Gomez needs a loan somewhere for a year.
Girona, send him to Girona for a season.
I'd like to see Championship or Premier League. I'd like to see him get out.
No, he needs to go back to Girona, mate. He needs to go right back to where he originally was going last season, mate.
Yeah.
To the bloody Girona and stay there. Thanks very much.
No, but I'd say I'd rather the Championship than Girona.
Girona look like they're comfortably in mid-table at the moment. They're going to need new players if they want to consider staying up in the La Liga next season. I think Gomez.
Right, I think we're going to start wrapping there. I was going to go to Man City, but Maru Foden is back training already. He's doing light training. He probably won't play.
I think he should start.
The expectation is Sheffield United in the Cup.
Yeah.
Maybe the week after. It just depends on his training.
Yeah. It's a good way to bet him back in, I think. It's a good fixture.
He won't be there Saturday. I'll be amazed. Would love Palmer to go on loan. Exactly. Just because they go on loan doesn't mean they're done. How come we've not made 100 thumbs yet? Go on, Rich. Show us 2 thumbs.
No, I was just going to think I'll just log on and get us one.
Yeah.
He doesn't even like his own channel. Hang on. Stop. Rich, have you not been liking the channel?
No, I like the channel overall, but I haven't liked today's show.
No, I mean, Jesus Christ. Pat,
I've subscribed 1,200 times.
I thought he was going to say I'm not even subscribed.
No. I've subscribed 1,200 times.
Rich would be the one who would unsubscribe, and then when we get to 2,000, he'll unsubscribe. Then so it goes back to 1999.
No, that's somebody else who did that. No, Rico Lewis ain't going anywhere. Gomez hate will not be tolerated. Do you like the reserves FIFA? Do you like the sort of FIFA likes this sort of unique player, doesn't it? He likes the. If it was up to FIFA, you'd have Carson in net, Gomez left back, Peroni in the middle, Cole Palmer on the right, and Liam Delap up top.
Yeah. Oh, what's his name? He plays striker for the academy at the moment with the Portuguese name. He'd have him starting as striker.
Perfect leverage for a good deal with Bellingham. Guys, if we've signed Bellingham, the deal's already agreed. This is not the time to start negotiating on Bellingham. He's done. Whoever's got him has already got him.
There's every chance we could see a pre-press announcement from City like we did with Haaland, where we've agreed a deal in principle.
We might come out next week. We've walked away from any deal. We're going after McAllister, and then McAllister becomes the new one, and we're off. And Jude ends up going nowhere. No, from what I've been told, and I'm not in the know, it comes from Andy. This Andy knows someone who was very, very. He used to be big up at Dortmund, and he told Andy about Haaland and about Akanji long beforehand. So, yeah, and he told me about 6 months ago Bellingham had been done. And Rich said it on air as well about 8 months ago that Bellingham had been done. So I believe Rich.
Yeah, because my dogs told me.
No, he didn't. Rich did get told by someone, but he's just sitting on it and keeping quiet. This is the thing. A lot of people kind of knew the City thing a long time ago. We just kept very quiet on it and let Liverpool just gas around for 6 months. Quite funny, actually.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that the press really underplays it. Even if you're looking through the press, and I saw it, in a couple of the Liverpool channels yesterday. They're not even mentioning City. They're still saying, they're worried United are going to come in with a massive bid after a takeover, or he's going to Real Madrid, and the press have barely covered that he's going to City, even though the press must know. I think it's because they sell more. Some great player signing for City isn't news. It just happens, and we do it. And it happened with Haaland. It's a much bigger story if he's going to Liverpool or if he's going to United. Sells more papers, adds a bit of controversy, creates something interesting. Someone signing for City and doing it 6 months early is boring. So apart from for us, so I think that's why I think it. They want a story that people will click on. And he's going to click on Bellingham agrees to sign in October.
People think on the 13th of April, 14th for you fellas, that teams are just going into Dortmund to get bidding now. It's like they're just knocking on the door and going, can we have a chat? It's like, when was Haaland done? January last year. Actually got fully these sort of deals are not something you do in 5 minutes. You don't just knock on the door in April and get it done in 2 weeks.
Martin, after Haaland was wrapped up, I wouldn't be surprised if Cheeky was saying to the guys at Dortmund, expect a call from me in a few weeks because we'll start talking about Bellingham.
The thing is, I've always said it, when that winter window closes on the 31st of Jan, then they start focusing onto the summer. They're always 6 months. Because if you're Borussia Dortmund, do you not need to know what's coming in so you can go off bidding on other players? Dortmund can't sit around and let everybody else bid on their players. There's a chain that it goes down. It's not just we bid, we buy, out you go, and Dortmund then, come the 1st of May, right, we can get going now.
No, Martin, never mind January. I think even going back to the summer, because they would have needed a whole season to scout.
What are you responding to down there?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it suits City to be not talked about by the press. We like our business to be quiet. So if we're signing Haaland or Bellingham, we just want to get on with the business quietly and sign the player. We don't want to big it up to the fans until the day we announce them. We don't want to create expectation, create trouble. So City generally like to just quietly sign someone. And if we brief, it tends to be that we're not signing someone rather than, yes, we're going to sign them. If we brief the journalists. Whereas Liverpool and United and, some of the other clubs like to brief their go for players because they want to big up the fans. They want to create excitement. They want to be in the papers, and then they'll deal with the consequences of not signing them later. Whereas we just want to quietly go about our business, underplay.
I'll tell you something now. If City are not getting Bellingham, you'll know within a week, because it's now what's happening now. It is now starting to build. Like the shirt number and everything's starting to come out now. What you'll then see, if Bellingham to City is not on, City will announce something next week and they'll say there is no deal between Bellingham. There was no interest.
Or look at it the other way. If the silence becomes too deafening,
silent,
then they will.
Yeah.
But then they'll come out with the whole deal.
If it's
agree
silent,
with the deal in principle. Agreed with a deal in principle, just like we did with the Haaland announcement.
There's going to be some. I think it'll be the 1st of May when anything gets announced. Not quite yet, Charlie, because things can change in the last minute. As I told everyone, Isco was sat in the Manchester City offices with a pen in his hand, and it fell. Alexis Sanchez was coming to City to do the medical. It fell apart because United came in at the very last minute.
And I think both Bellingham and City will respect Dortmund enough that if he is coming to City, it will be announced as and when suits Dortmund. Because I think we will, one of the things with Haaland is we very much let Dortmund determine how that was announced.
What you're saying is, Rich, Dortmund will announce it before we do, like they did with Haaland.
Quite possibly, yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be if it's not a release clause in the same way. But I think we will if he is coming to City, then we will let Dortmund determine when it should be announced, because they may not want to announce it whilst, for example, the league's still live in Germany. They may not want it to be announced. They may not. So I think we will
title to be fought, yeah.
Because if we want to have good relationships with clubs, we have to respect the selling clubs, and that's why I think McAllister's hard for us, because I think we did disrespect Brighton last year, and I think that makes and I think Tottenham would see that we've disrespected them. I think they disrespected us too, but I think and Napoli may be the same. So I think we will want to keep our relationship strong and good with Dortmund, and we will continue to try and do that, signing players, because we don't want to have a Brighton, Napoli, Spurs situation.
Do you know where I think where you will get it sub to? It won't be Bernardo. Bernardo will be cash money if he goes anywhere. I expect Carlos Borges to go out to Dortmund. That's the kind of deal you'll do. One of our EDS, who is not actually playing a lot of football at the moment.
Yeah. What do you think will happen to McAtee? Because he's one who we re-signed.
He'll either play at Sheffield United or he'll go to Burnley.
On loan, or do you think we'll sell him?
I think
we'd probably get 35 million for him.
How many years can you loan him out consecutively now with the rule? I don't know what the rule is.
I don't think it's more than 2.
Gundo won't. You can't. 2 years to do what, FIFA? This is my issue, mate.
Now FIFA's propping up our senior players. I thought.
No, but what I mean,
you should be giving Alex Robertson from the academy bloody 2 years or something.
I love Gundo, but here's my thing, mate. Are you willing to stand still in the transfer market to give Gundo a 2-year deal? Because that's what you're going to do.
Do you reckon? I think it's about Gundo in game time. I think
if we give Gundo and Bernardo contract extensions, why bring Jude in?
I think you still need to. We're still probably a man light in midfield.
Jude isn't coming in on a bench, mate.
But I think the issue with Gundo is that if we signed him for 2 years, it would be on the basis that he's going to play fewer games. You're not going to play all the big games. You're not going to be playing every week because we're bringing in a new player. And I don't know that. I think Gundo's probably too good and too young to want to be a kind of elder statesman and like Fernandinho's last season or two. And he's probably still too good for that. But we're not going to start Gundo 50 times next season if he stays. And that's where I think, that's why I think Gundo, and also Gundo, if he goes, can probably get a 10, 20 million signing on fee and 200 grand a week, which means to stay at City, we're probably going to have to pay him $250,000 a week. And we might not want to pay him that much if we see him as a peripheral rather than a certain starter.
And Rich, not also to the fact that we're paying KDB almost twice as much as that at the same age. I don't think we want to do it 2 times.
Yeah, and Gundo is still playing. Gundo this season is still up there as a shout for, if you had a best Premier League 22, Gundo would be up there. He's still up there at the top of the game. But, he isn't ever been the most fastest athletic, and you know.
Well, not the most fastest athletic. It's just the fact that he had to reform his game after 2 horrible injuries before he came to City. One of them including dislocating your kneecap, which can take a long time to recover from. So he was never ever going to be the box-to-box midfielder we thought we were going to get when we signed him from Dortmund. But what he did gradually over his time with Pep was he reformed himself into a much more sensible footballer. A footballer that was already had that football brain, even when he was a young player. But obviously his physicality and endurance. Yeah. But he's one of the most intelligent footballers you'll ever see. Like you said, that with Pep's false 9, the couple of false 9 seasons we had, the reason why Gundogan was so successful and he had his most highest number of goal contributions, both in goals and assists, was because he read the game so well and was able to arrive in the box in that final third better than anybody we'd ever seen.
And I think when he goes, a lot of City fans, I think Gundo is probably the most underrated player, arguably of the Mansour era, in that I never hear Gundo really being talked about as a legend. You never hear him talked about with Yaya and De Bruyne and Silva and Aguero. But let's be quite clear, Gundo has been absolutely critical to 3 league wins. In 2019, when Fernandinho got injured and he was an anchor, he was our best player in that run-in where we won 14 games on the trot. His goals the season before last, in December and January, turned the season around and won us the league. And then last season, although his impact was a bit less, in the last game of the season, it was Gundo who stepped up against Villa and, got himself into the back post and got the goals. So we will miss him. But if he wants to start every game and he wants to still be central to a team, he probably thinks it has to be someone else, not City.
Sub 2, don't worry. It's not our money, mate. Whoever, the point we're trying to make sub 2, whoever City sign will be nearly 100 million. So it's something you just have to deal with, mate. It isn't our money. They're gonna have to spend, and City haven't spent a lot of money. We said last year, didn't we, Rich? City have been stockpiling money for certain things.
Yeah.
There you go.
This summer, this off season, we're only just starting to spend the money coming through from Ferran Torres, plus Jesus, Sterling, and Zinchenko. Anything that's sold. Anything that's sold this summer won't start coming into effect at least until next summer. That's how it works. It's always a year later.
It's a bit harsh, super sad. Gundo in 2 years will need a mobility scooter to get around the pitch.
I think Gundo in 2 years will still be playing in.
Hey, in 2 years, I'll need a mobility scooter just to get to the desk.
He'll still be playing for a top team in Italy or Spain and playing really well in 2 years.
Make sure your mobility scooter has a cup holder, Martin, of course.
Gundo is our captain, and he will be.
And they still let you go through drive-through with that.
Can I just remind everyone?
Yes, it's really our captain.
Can I just remind everyone?
Yes.
We lost Aguero. We lost Company. We lost David Silva.
All for free.
We lost Yaya. Manchester City still went on and won leagues. Let's just relax. Not everyone can stay forever. We're not Dad's Army. We can't be Liverpool and have a 40-year-old midfielder running around. Come on now. Take sentimentality out. Well, that should be a T-shirt. No sentimentality. That'll be a bit long.
Putting the mental in sentimentality.
You could get, because your opinions are like playing. FIFA just wants to bring everyone in. He wants Palmer starting on Saturday now. FIFA, I'd love you to be manager for one game just to see what 11 you'd throw out. And you'd have a superstar bench.
If we play a Carabao or an FA Cup game against like a non-league opposition, FIFA is going to have an absolute field day with guessing the lineup.
Yeah. I think we should have
play like a Lincoln City or something like that. It'll be
we should have a competition. Competition at the local chip shop. The winner of the competition gets to pick City's team in the first round.
2 weeks fine. Yeah, 2 weeks fine.
What of my wages of nothing? Fine.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of
Martin,
chip shops,
you can take my last 12 months salary from the Mancunian way as a prime if you like.
Reed, speaking of chip shops too, next time I'm over, I'm going to try and introduce chicken salt to the Mancunians.
By the way, we lost.
Not a fan, mate. Not a fan.
Do you know, there's one thing that I saw recently that was the worst thing I've ever seen, and it was someone having gravy on fish.
Oh,
my mum does that.
Come on.
She has curry on fish.
No.
Gravy on a fish is just. I love gravy.
I feel bad even if it sneaks. Even if your fish sneaks into the gravy.
All right.
Yeah. If you want a rich rants, gravy on a fish would be.
It's curry on a fish. All right.
I wouldn't have curry on a fish. I like just a bit of vinegar, salt and vinegar, but curry
you
would
wouldn't
be
like vinegar now with that cut on your lip, mate.
I haven't tried curry sauce on a fish, but I like fish curry, so it's bound to be better than gravy on a fish.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll tell my mum later. Rich said,
"I'm going to bring chicken salt over, and it will completely change. It will completely change an institution."
Maybe, do you know what? It is a northern thing. Northern can't have anything dry.
Yeah. Mushy peas on a fish.
Everything has to be wet.
Mushy peas on a fish. Perfect. Beautiful. Chips, fish, mushy peas, salt and vinegar.
Salt.
Perfect.
That's the thing. Honestly,
chicken salt with fish would be for wrong uns as well.
No, not on your fish, but chicken salt just on your chips.
No, Pat, Mancunians cannot have dry anything. No dry.
No, I get that, but I mean, like over here, our fish and chips are a little bit different. But yeah, on your you can have whatever suits you as long as it's not gravy on your fish. That's fine. But on your chips and your chips only, a bit of chicken salt does not hurt. It's fantastic.
By the way, is it a balm cake, a muffin?
It's a balm.
I'm joking. We're leaving on that note. I'm not starting Rich on his balm and pasties and everything else.
It's definitely balm.
Stop. Not going into that. Do you know we actually had, I am not kidding you, last year there was a 2-hour WhatsApp debate about that. I just sat.
Only 2 hours. Only 2 hours. Jeez, you moderated that.
No, it actually might have been a bit longer, hasn't it, Rich? I opened my phone to about 125 messages.
It started on one of the city pages about 10 years ago. I think it's been a 10-year debate. But the answer, it did come out officially that the answer's balm. So
give over. Muffin. There you go. Patsy balm, easy. Battered fish, mushy peas, rich with salt and vinegar. My mouth is watering. Put it back in.
So's mine, but I'll have to get on a bloody 24-hour plane journey to get bloody decent fish and chips.
Well, guys, everyone in the chat in Manchester, next time I'm over, I'm going to bring over some chicken salt. You can try a little bit, even on mine, and just let me know what you think. Don't knock until you try it. Don't knock until you try it. Chicken salt on your chips.
You are never getting into my car ever again.
Nothing wrong with it.
Someone who has tried chicken salt on hundreds of occasions. Chips in Australia are not proper chips.
You know the weird thing is,
it's not proper, and there is nothing you could buy at any chip shop in Sydney or Melbourne or Brisbane that would go close to any chip shop at home. I mean,
funnily enough,
crispy
chicken salt on chips. Chicken salt on chips. Australia's better at cricket than England, and Danny Allsop was a generational talent.
What did Martin have in his hand when he picked pad up outside the Asda at Eastlands? I picked pad up outside the Asda at Eastlands. What did I have in mind?
Martin, we said we're not going to do any hub channels. I'm
just going now. Bullying me. Anyway, we're going to leave it there. 2 hours have flown by. Big thank you. I know it hasn't always been football. I know this is a bit different to maybe some other channels, but we like a little bit of banter as well on here and a bit of a laugh as well. It has been a pleasure. We've had Vader on. Go and give Vader Games TV a lot of love. Go and give Andy at the 9320 podcast a lot of love. They've done some magnificent stuff in the last 24 hours, including Vater's Why Always Me and Andy's. Get out of the comments. I know what you're doing. If it appears, it better not come up.
Who are you talking to?
You've got all these Aussies
He's
sticking
done
up.
it again. Anyway.
Oh, he's going to find me last year's wages now.
No, you still hold that. I can't. Oh, he's in the bloody chat now.
So Martin, what was in your hand when you met Pat?
And he drives an automatic too.
Oh, right. Anyway, swiftly moving on. Andy did a show with Terry Phelan earlier as well, and a live show with Matt McLean, which was very good. We are back. Big thank. Pat, any update on the early Berts before you go?
Yeah, Danny and I are meant to be jumping on doing a show sometime later today. So probably be while most of you are all tucked up in bed. So keep an eye out for that, or an ear out for that over the weekend. SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. That's the early Bert, BERT. Yeah, we're hoping to get it back up and running in the next few hours. But of course, as Martin's alluded to on previous shows, we do have a great little back catalogue of previous fixtures from this season, but looking to get the ball rolling again over the weekend. Otherwise, this weekend, I'm looking forward to doing the trip up away to Central Coast for the A-League. It's Mariners against Melbourne City, of course, Manchester City's affiliate club. So hopefully I can get some photos and videos of that, and hopefully give you a bit of an insight about this young Jordan Boss left back that apparently City's interested in. So, well, I believe it's just going to be another line piece to another English club. I'd be interested to see just how this guy plays. So I'll be looking forward to letting everybody know what he's all about.
Yep, there you go as well. So big thank you. If you can't, smash the likes on the way out. If you are not subscribed, please do. We will be back Saturday night. Around about probably about 9ish, 9:30ish, maybe a bit. I don't know. We'll see who we've got available. I don't know who's available to come on yet. We'll see. Might be me on my own.
I should be all right.
There you go.
I'll give you a gift, Martin, of me saying you're wrong. And
is this your way of telling me you're not coming on? Is this your way of telling me you're not coming on?
It's unlikely that I'll be up at 6 a.m. or 5:30 a.m. on a Sunday, whatever that is, because I don't think it's going to be hard to be up at 2:30.
I'm joking. I know. I'm joking with him. I'm like, look at him. Don't like it up him, does it? Oh, no, hang on. No, scrap that. Right, anyway, have a lovely evening.
He's channeling Sid James now. Or was it Charles Hawtrey? I can't remember.
We will see you Saturday night for the post-match. And then don't forget, next week, there is going to be a live watch-along with myself, Pat, and Alan.
Yep.
Might get Andy. I might do all four of us.
I'll be recruiting the troops in Sydney, so
and
I'm looking forward to
for the second leg.
What watch-alongs are like in Sydney.
And then what else we got? Oh, and then Saturday night, I'm not here. There won't be a post-match to Sheffield United. We will do the post-match on the Sunday.
Yeah.
Because I don't really want to I don't want to promise it and then my Wi-Fi dies down there.
Yeah.
So we'll just see. We'll probably do because I'm not going to be back till about 3 a.m. on Saturday. And the game's at what time? 4, 4:45. You're looking about 6:30, 7 before I'm even out of Wembley. So, yeah, we'll probably do it on Sunday if that's all right. But we'll have a chat with the lads and we'll see.
Good stuff.
So, loads to come up.
Am I going to crack and subscribe to Paramount? That's the only question.
No, mate, just come down to Cheers. I know it's 1:45 in the morning, but
just get a Cheers for the final.
Yeah.
And then you might see me. I might be going to Everton away. I don't know yet. I might be going Everton away. I don't know yet.
Is that just to prove your manliness to Alan that you will step foot in Liverpool?
And then
don't get him on that stream either.
And if we get to it, I will be going to Istanbul. Whether I've got a ticket or I don't, I'll be going to Istanbul.
Me too.
Pat, can you get cheap flights for your mates to Istanbul?
Yeah, can you send it on me as well. Can you get cheap flights from Manchester to Istanbul?
You get them cheaper than me, halfwit. Come on. You're just next door. You're next door. We're bloody what? Rich and I are bloody 8 time zones away.
Rich, you're not going to Istanbul. Stop lying. You're not going. Don't pretend you are.
I've got a full agreement in place to go to a Champions League final.
I've got your season ticket here. Do you want me to get it for you?
Yeah, but fortunately or unfortunately, as we found out last season, the season ticket isn't always.
Here we go.
You know,
there's Rich's season ticket.
Let's not forget, man. Let's not forget. There's every chance. I've probably been to more away games this season than you.
Yeah,
man.
You've been to what?
I've probably been to more away games this season than you have.
Yeah, I might. How do you get your tickets?
Through the supporter club.
Yeah, and that's And that was the thing. Last season, my brother's had a season ticket for 20 years.
City fans. That's
but it's a true fact, and it's something to debate about the fairness or unfairness. But last season, my brother's had a season ticket for 20 years, and he couldn't get near getting a ticket for Ellen Road, and I could get one through the supporters club because City do let the supporters club have 300 tickets for every game, and so people who are members of the official supporters club, you know, at home in the UK or overseas, can go for those tickets and get away tickets.
See, so basically, Pat and Rich could get me away tickets easier than I could get them from the actual club, but they just don't help. They don't help a brother out, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but they'd see my name on a ticket and then they'd look at you and they go, "No,
Rich, they don't check the name. I don't know where you get this idea to check names, mate."
Yeah, but that they would if it was
don't
you.
Give me that crappy excuse.
If it was you, Martin, they would. They'd go, oh, look, it's Martin Horsfield. Oh no, that's not the name.
No, that is
we're sick and tired of all the curly whirly rappers in the family.
No, it is actually a big.
We're not having fish and gravy in this stadium.
No,
and he's chicken salt loving, mate. I just have had enough of him.
This is an actual talking point one day because there is actually issues with some fans now. Match-going fans who are season ticket holders struggle for away games, and others get them who are not season ticket holders. It is a major issue with people.
We've got about 20.
Not saying you're a bad lad.
Yeah.
Just saying that.
We have what 15 times more season ticket holders than away tickets available each game.
So can I ask a supporter club for an away ticket?
If you're a member of a supporters club, you can apply for tickets. Now, if you're a member of a big supporters club in the UK, 80 people might apply and they might give that supporters club 3 tickets or 5 tickets. Yeah. So
not everyone who applies is going to get one. Yeah. We have a certain allocations given to us. They will analyze. If more than that is requested, then they will analyze and see if it is available. But obviously, if the demand is too high or through the roof, then they'll just stick to whatever default number of ticket applications can be allowed for each supporters club. Now, albeit the OSC will factor in geography as well, which is why I give a lot of credit to Kevin Parker and the team there as well. They will tolerate that. Obviously, there's a lot more logistics involved for people like us from Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Adelaide, Perth, New Zealand, even Asia. You can throw Asia in there as well too. So they are willing to listen to our demands, or not demands, but obviously our requests of that. So I do. I'll always hold the OSC in high regards because they have given us a lot of opportunities, and they will listen to a lot of things that we ask of with questions.
That's also because those supporters clubs will only won't apply for every game, and when they do apply, it's usually only 1 or 2 tickets. So it's not like Sydney's applying for 50 tickets every week. They might be applying for 2 tickets.
Pat, are you on about JB22? Or what you on about? Just let us know. We've been live for 2.5 hours, so I don't know if Tolmy's said anything. Oh, talking about the Jude thing, the trademark stuff. Yeah. We'll see how it comes out. I have heard.
I think you're right, Martin. About give it a week, and we'll see if City start doing any press releases.
I have heard Liverpool are going to retire the number 8 shirt in honour of Jude Bellingham. Good night. Have a lovely evening. Smash the like on your way out. Well, I shout with these two because they get more chance of away tickets than me. Wrong night, innit?
This is Boo. This is who.
I was waiting for that. Bye.
See you in a bit.
Say bye, Rich.
Bye.
I thought he was going to say bye, Rich.
I'll see if I could freeze.